How are we doing on this fine evening? How would you like my new look? I was listening to Take On Me just before this, so I thought I'd go with it. -1 aura. Been that man. Fine. Fine. I can fix it so that you can see my face. Something like this. It's a bit better. That'll do. How you all doing? How are we all doing? Shadowland spell in my room. Very nice. Very nice. 3 times ads to open up. That is grim. Let me just double check. What I do is I set my ads on whatever the balanced is. So if you're getting more than that, it shouldn't be because of my settings. Yeah, I've just got it on medium frequency as opposed to anything odd. He's joined the dark side. I haven't. I don't think. Well, I mean, I talked about how much I make from ads. It's not enough to be worth being evil, and also don't particularly want to be evil. But yeah, hope you're all doing well. How's the audio volume? I fancied listening to some music this evening. I didn't want to just talk into the void, which probably means, funnily enough, that this will be demonetized. Even if you find something that's called royalty free, often it'll demonetize you anyway. But you know, that is what it is. Is what it is. All good. Sounds good. Excelente. I haven't got it to hand. Oh, it's around the corner. I can't bother to go yet. Weird. I got a parcel from YouTube with a coffee mug and a bag for the coffee mug in. I don't really know why. I mean, thanks. But also, I don't really know why. It's a little bit of an odd thing to... Getting demonized. Yeah, true. Iron demonized. We've got some Iron Demons for the stream as well. I have had one hell of a week. Today's only been, you know, a shorter day, but it's been 12 and 14-hour days, and today I've finally been able to catch up on some backlog of admin. Where's the golden play button? What do you need to get the play button? I think it's like 100,000, or is it 1 million? YouTube Play Button Award. I think I'm a long way off. Whatever that is. Silver's 100k. Okay. I feel like silver is maybe achievable if I keep doing this for 10 years. And also, I don't know. I'd have to change the focus of the channel, I think. YouTube gave you 3 unskippable ads before you could stop watching as well. I think so. I talked about this just before. Definitely not me. I've just got it on the normal ad setting, which is the balanced approach. All I do is whenever I make one of these streams, I just copy the settings from the previous one. So I knew I haven't changed it, but I have heard that that YouTube has been more aggressive. YouTube TV owners apparently have been getting like triple unskippable ads. I did see that as a story recently, so maybe they've just decided that it's time to squeeze more pennies out of the advertisers. Which my recommendation, and even though this does technically harm me, would be just use AdBlock. It's really good. You said you're watching on your phone. Yeah, you can make tweaks. I use... What do I use? Where's my phone over here? I think the one that I call is literally just called AdBlock. And it's just an app that I think I couldn't get on the App Store. I think I had to... Or the Play Store. I think I had to download it separately. AdGuard. Yeah. If I show it, it's mostly green, so I don't think it'll show up. But yeah. It's just a filter. It blocks ads in apps. It blocks them in my web browsers as well. It's worth whatever I pay for it on a yearly basis. It's just solid. Big fan of it. The first one's almost always unskippable. Yeah, I feel like YouTube ads are a pretty poor experience in general. When you're a Clash of Nations winner, you'll have a big influx of subs, right? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hopefully this year. If not, in the next 5, we'll do it. Also, I guess I'm technically already a Clash of Nations winner. Thank you very much, Remy. How dare you forget that? How dare you remember that I downplay my involvement in it, because I don't feel like I can claim that as a title too much. Also, Remy, you didn't submit a JSON file. You submitted a text file. So, I haven't got it on the stream, but just put it in your, I know it's not technically, like, international Warhammer, but put it in your coaching channel, and we'll have a look at it on the Netherlands Discord, mate. Yeah. Look like you're one of the Matrix Code stream savers. Oh, I've already read that one. Yeah. So this is just a case of I've been moving things around, and the lighting for my green screen is not fully set up properly, so it's hitting most of it, but I need to tweak around with it, and yeah, I shan't be doing that. But it's nice to be back. I've not been. I've had some stuff going on, but it's good to be back with it. I'm saying that I might not stream next weekend. I'm theoretically at an event next weekend, which I need to actually organize. I haven't organized that, so I might be running the Chaos Dwarfs back. See if I can either go for a 4-1 or a 1-4, so I get a result that I haven't already got. But there's also, for those of you playing Magic, the Strixhaven pre-release is this weekend coming. So if I'm playing an event, I can't also do that. So the only opportunity is that I'd have to go on a Friday. And any time that I've skipped, or that's not true, most of the time I've skipped the Friday night streams, it's been because I'm traveling to an event or painting for an event. I feel bad about doing it for Magic, but I might just do it because I like playing the sets which are like universes within instead of the like, here's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't give a shit. Hot on the heels of an epic 0-3 crash out. Has a flavour, how dare you? There are 5 games at the tournament. I will go 0-5, and I will not crash out. I will be a lovely opponent, while questioning my ability to play the game. I actually, I don't mind. It's funny, in the VIP chat, Callum hadn't made, this is more Dark Elf content, etc, etc. He changes his name more than I change my armies. He hadn't been making fun of me for my results. So I guess he genuinely was concerned that I'd take it the wrong way. But when I posted the video on Thursday, he was like, oh, good. I'm glad that, you know, this is a topic I feel comfortable making fun of you about now. I'm paraphrasing. I think I haven't quite got the vibe right. But, yeah, anyway, my point was going to be, I'm not too bothered about having bad results. It doesn't feel good. Like, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. On, like, a human level, you go there and you're expecting to do better, and then you have bad results. That doesn't feel good. But the last time I had a terrible tournament was back when I was playing 40k. I went 1-4, questioned my life choices, and then I went undefeated at my next event. So I'm just going to assume that I'll bounce back, and if not, then maybe I retire. Leave the Iron Demons at home and bring the Taurex? No, I think the Iron Demons do so much for the list. I won't be playing it this weekend, but I'm tweaking around. It's a bad list. But there is a. I was like, what? Talking about Howley, the Chaos Dwarf player who beat me on Sunday. He mentioned that there's a terrible list that you can do where you just spam artillery, and I was like, that sounds bad. And he's like, yeah, but it's all D6 wounds. And there's a way to fire there. I was like, you know what? I want to see if there's something I can do with it. So I'm gonna do some testing games with that. I'm recruiting a little bit of a cabal of people who don't play Chaos Dwarf specifically, because I want untainted minds, and I'm gonna try and run some ideas past them. So I've only talked to one person about this so far. I'm waiting to hear back. They haven't responded in hours, which might mean that the list is unplayable. So we'll see. We'll see. Jackie, you're playing your first game tomorrow. Congratulations. The amount I see you in here, I assumed you were an old world veteran. That's cool. I hope it goes really well for you. If you are you playing an event, or are you just playing with friends? If you're playing with friends, if you can't work out what the rule is, just work out what seems sensible. Old World is a fantastic game system that is very poorly written. If you try and play it too tight, it falls apart. I think the game is fantastic if you have like a 90% rules grasp and then a 10% like, let's just double check. That would be the vibe anyway. What else have we got? What else have we got? Just with friends? Lovely. Will I be Iron Manning it up tomorrow? Iron Manning it up? Mr. Assyrian. When you said... yeah, I don't think yours was in Mr. Ross, I'm afraid. Is there an Iron Man event going on in Lincoln? I am kind of interested in doing some of those, like, gimmick events every now and then. Lincoln Iron Man event. Old World? 5 matches one day. Oh, you know what? Someone did mention that to me. I probably should have done. It's not that far away. I'm not doing it, but I should have. I'd probably have to have gotten an Airbnb or a hotel room. That would be doable. I'll keep my eye out for another one of those because it's a fun idea. I have thought about doing stuff like that before when they pop up. The Coventry UKTC 3-day event was fun. The one time I did it, we just played Warhammer for 3 days, and for one LGT, I think I did 4 days where I did an RTT on the Friday and one on the Monday, and then I played the tournament on the Saturday, Sunday. It drains you though. I was going to ask if you wanted to lift. Hell yeah, I appreciate the offer. But no, I hope it's good. I'll have to try and remember to have a look at how it goes. Should be cool. Should be cool. There's a good chunk of people there. There's some good players there as well. It'll be interesting to see that game 5 when it's, you know, the brain has fully melted out of your ears at coming up midnight between the two players who are like 3 in a draw or something like that. Cool. All right. Well, let's talk about some lists. I'm not looking to skip through them, but I do want to get through them in a reasonable amount of time. So let's have a look here. Oh, I've just opened a message that I shouldn't have done. Let's just mark that one in red and then go back to the fix my list. All right. Let's have a look here. So we're going to start off with Wrath's Heralds, because it's the one at the top. So, square-based comp 5 list trying the Manticore Chaos Lord for the Apex, Predator Shark in the tank field instead of one of the dragons, Knights for impact hits and dogs to control them, Chariots because it's the cheapest way to include in the second mark of Chaos and the characters for Heralds, true. It can be better by playing Grand Army, but this year I'm playing Herald's Darkness commit. I love that. I'm a huge fan of Herald's Darkness. I just can't make them work. So, got a Warfire Dragon. That's a good start. Got a Shartak. I don't know that this is... Like, I'm fully out on the Shartak for, like, the Soul Shartak. I don't find them to do very much post 1.5. So I think those are points that you could very easily drop. Okay, so we got the Chaos Lord. I've had this conversation a couple of times in recent weeks, actually. So the argument is that the Chaos Lord and the tooling up is so much better, but I don't think you get more out of a 500-point Manticore than you do a 500-point Dragon. And I would, in fact, just drop down to the Exalted Champion. If you drop down to the Exalted Champion, arguably you've got more damage than the Chaos Lord does, because you've got the, you know, the Strength 7, AP 2. You've still got the great weapon on the Exalted Champion, whereas the Manticore is pretty pants. It is 4 attacks at strength 5. Yeah, strength 5 AP2, which is not awful. But if you compare it to something like a dragon, and then you've put points into damage, and you've even gone extra arm to get as much juice out of it as possible. But it's really squishy comparatively. Only T6, only T5. 8 wounds is nice, but then if you go with the Exalted Champion on Dragon, it's an extra wound. You've also got the regen on there as well. That's where I was to start, but I'm looking at the D3 wounds. What are you worried about that you want to put this into with the D3 wounds? Would be my question, because I think this loses to dragons. My gut feel, and I haven't done the math on this, but my gut feel is that this loses a head-to-head fight with dragons. And I would expect it to lose a head-to-head fight with a Shigengan, assuming that the Shigengan gets their Spectral Doppelganger off. So I'm not really sure what the Chaos Lord wins into. And if it's stuff like, I don't know, the giant spawn of Nurgle, the dragon would have killed that. And it's worse into small arms fire. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not keen. I need to remind myself what Dark Hearts does. This is nice. This is nice on a Terra Corsa, but you've also cheated because it's infantry and cavalry only. I read the rule and then I read the restriction afterwards. So that's not legal. And then Prophetic Foresight. I don't hate this. You're probably going to be in the middle of the table, but denying your opponent's scouts is pretty nice. Exalted Dragon is also T5. Yeah, but you've got the 5-up regen. So, like, you go from 8 wounds to an effective, like, I can't remember the maths on it. It's like 15 wounds or something. Because with a regen, you get, like, with an additional save, you get a recursion where you don't just get that extra wound once. You get a chance to save on that extra wound. Something like that. So you end up with, like, 14 or 15 effective wounds in comparison to just the double save. What would we go with here? Like, in terms of this, I'd be more worried about being charged by something like the Shug. I know you're a flying creature, but if we're going all in on trying to bully with this, like, maybe you drop the extra arm and you just go for, like, one of these two, Diabolic Splendor, Enchanting Aura. This is going to get shot to pieces. I worry. I'm like, oh, what about Null? Like, you don't see Null in the UK at events all that often, but if you did see Null, it would terrify you. X-Force as well is something we don't see a lot of. That's a hole in my repertoire that I should probably fill. Exalted Champion. This is the dragon. Nice. Yeah, I'd just go double dragon. I think that's better. Then you've got the Knights, the Chariot, the Warhounds, the Marauder Horsemen. I think... So, I'm not going to bang on about the Lord for too long, because it's 500 points. You can take it out, you can put it back in, you can twist it, bop it, fix it, shake it, whatever. You can put another Exalted Champion in if you want to. For specifically Heralds, I wonder if it's worth going for Nurgle here. Because I really like having Undivided on my general units. Like, these Chaos Knights, if they panic and flee, you're going to be really sad, and you don't have that great a leadership. Obviously, you do have a Chaos Lord, so leadership 9 with an 18-inch bubble is not too bad. But is it better just to not? Like, you've gone Banner of Rage and Mark and Nurgle. And Dark Hearts. Dark Hearts makes... That's fine. I like that. Would this not be better? I personally don't like Frenzy. I think it's too easy to control and just get, like, 3 points out of. But if you want to go down that line, I'd go Mark of Khorne. And instead of Banner of Rage, you give them probably, like, Icon of Darkness or something. Which gives you -1 to hit. You can even go for Banner of the Braying Hounds, which is quite nice. Because you don't have to Vanguard forwards. You can just Vanguard sideways. If you're playing a matchup where you want to deploy in the line, but your opponent's got, like, dragons or something like that, you can Vanguard forwards an inch or whatever, or just change your facing. And because you Vanguarded, you can't charge on your turn 1, so you're not going to get Frenzy-based immediately. But then, if you just want to get really aggressive with it, and if you think that they're going to push something up the board that you can kill, you don't have to Vanguard. That means Khorne... Oh, fuck, yeah. It does mean that. I'd literally just talked about the restrictions for for heralds, and then my brain went out my ears. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it is Banner Rage. I mean, I just wouldn't run Frenzied Knights. I don't think they're good. But if you want to go down that line, I guess it has to be that. And I'd probably keep them cheap. So if we're going down this sort of route, Undivided, 6 of them. No musician is fine, because they're just going to probably die. 252 points instead of the, like, 300 and whatever, because you know this unit's going to die, and you're not getting 8 into base-to-base contact, and if they're getting shot to pieces, they're getting shot to pieces. You know, that's the matchup that you're in. So I'd probably just go... they just need to have enough punch that they can zone out in front of them. But the problem is that the things that are in the meta that exist aren't scared of them, right? Like, this unit doesn't worry dragons. I'd put a dragon in front of that all day. I might even challenge you. The dragons are doing the killing. Sure. But like, I don't see that this is adding much, personally. I would maybe be tempted to... I'm going to be tweaking this too much, so I'm not going to post this as a list, but my general thoughts would be, maybe you just drop the Nurgle off both of these. Like, it's nice to have, but I don't know that it's nice enough that it's worth losing the consistency in the core. The Warfire Dragon is fantastic. The Marauder Horsemen, I think, are very good. I really like them. 1 or 2 units of Warhounds is nice. Have these both got ambushes? Yeah, they have. I don't know what I really want to do with the rest of the core, and that's the problem that I have with Heralds. Honestly, you know, 6 Knights with Frenzy is not the worst thing you can do, given that you've got to spend so many points. The problem is, like, you're giving up 300 points when they die in melee, which is rough. So, yeah, maybe you drop the Chariot if we just sketch out what the core looks like. Do we just go heavier on the Marauder Horsemen? Like, they score surprisingly well. I guess the problem is you can only give 2 of them ambushes, so you start to get higher up on the drops. I definitely drop this Shartak. Honestly, I'm not opposed to an actual unit of Dragon Ogres. I think they really help in some matches. So, like, if you're going into Undead, for example, that really gives you some extra punch to grind through. Although we're going to struggle on points if you go for the full unit of 3, right? Because we're capped on characters and everything else. Oh yeah, kind of points. Yeah. I don't know where I'd go with this, and this is the problem that I have with the list. Like, if you're running Knights, I feel like you want to run Wizards to support them, but if you're running Wizards, you're not running Dragons, and at that point we get into this what are we doing situation, right? So maybe, honestly, just the units of Chaos Knights for Furious Charge is not bad. Like, you could maybe go, not Furious Charge, sorry, for First Charge, that's the word I was looking for. Like, is there a second unit where you just go 6 unit champion, maybe a musician, lancers, and they're there to provide another source of First Charge? They win into other shit cavalry. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on them. And then we've got like 100 points, so we can't even go with a Chosen Chariot. There's just really not much you can put in, is there? There's no way to fit in a giant spawn. It's probably not, but is it just more core? Honestly, you know what? The regular Chariot's not the worst thing you can do for the points. It's another source of First Charge. The impact hits are nice. It's unit strength 5. Like, I would almost say I'd prefer more Knights instead of a Shartak or something like that. Units of 4 with Champions First Charge elevators. Yeah. Yeah, maybe this. And I wouldn't even put a banner on this one. Maybe you drop this down to 5. Or I think I like going at least 5 instead of 4, because then you can dual job. You can start them on objectives if you want to, or, you know, if the matchup's really rough, you can just hold them back and hold a baggage train at the end of the game or something like that. But yeah, I think that would be probably the way I'd go. And I definitely go double dragon. I think it's good to test the Chaos Lord, but I think you might find this to not do very much over the course of the the time you play it. But yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes for you. Hope it goes well. All right, cool. That's the first one. That is the first one. I'm a big fan of Double Exalted. I think just going for the triple save on both dragons, because if you play into, like, we're in a canon meta, right? Especially here in the UK. So if you play into anything that's like really heavy cannons, and you go like, here's a Chaos Lord, it has 10 wounds but no save, and it's like, all right, cool, I'll just turn that one into tissue first. Leadership 8 army scares me. Well, that's one of the reasons that I'm saying that you drop the marks from them and you just go undivided on everything, because that means that you've got the reroll on Fear, Panic, and Terror, which just gives you enough durability to get through. Using this as a distraction from the football, which, who's your team and how badly are they losing? And also, are we talking football or hand egg? West Ham. That is where some of the ham is. Have a look. Who are they playing? Wolves. No one scored yet. 26 minutes in. All right, cool. Byzantine Byron. I'm pretty sure this is just Byron who submitted the Bretonnian Exiles list as well. So I'm going to look at that list, and if it's not, here we are. Here we are. Cool. All right. So this was looking at this for an RTT coming up, just full on no thoughts, head empty flying circus. All right, cool. Question R, how do I fit in an outcast wizard? Any thoughts on mounted human? Yeah, they're incredible. Ambushing brigands have access to everything, so feel free to go nuts. Love that. Love that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is I like the Brick of Guard, but the build, and I've been crediting it to Jack Toll, and I don't know if he came up with it, but he's where I saw it first, is you just go min units, like as many as possible, min units of mounted yeomen and min units of archers. So you drop both of these would go down to 5, or maybe they are 6s, I can't remember how the points go exactly. In fact, let's just sketch it out. Like, you can play like the 2 bricks, and that's okay. You're not wrong for doing so. So if you don't like this suggestion, feel free to keep your core the way that it was. It was incredibly fine. I'd put a musician in these because they're likely to run away. We'll not give them any other upgrades, so they're just going to be completely naked, but they're super cheap. They've got musicians, and their unit strength 12, and they have reserve moves. That's really, really nice. Then you go the Peasant Bowman, and you just go units of 10. How many points are we on? Yeah, so we're looking at, maybe we have to drop these down to 5s. I can't remember. Anyway, something like this. I would like to go bigger on the Peasant Bowman, but we'll see how the rest of the points are. And you obviously need a unit of Knights of the Realm on foot, so we just go for this unit. You keep them with the Knight's Vow, because then they provide their leadership 8 in a bubble for the peasants who have worse leadership there. And I definitely wouldn't bother with the Sergeant at Arms. It's like, I understand the appeal of it, but in reality, the Yeomen are just so cheap, and they just do their job pretty well on their own. Double Baron. Both unbarded packages. Alright, let's have a look here. So you've gone for... Okay, so you've the character that's got the Cackling Blade, that's just kind of good on its own. You don't need to give it anything else. I would like a Charmed Shield on there. You haven't given it a shield at all. So a shield on here would be great. But the other thing you can do is you can give it the Virtue of Purity. 30 points, gives you a 5-up ward save, even if you didn't pray at the start of the game. It's a Talisman of Protection that comes out of your virtues. You never used to see it because people would go either Knightly Temper or Heroism. But here, Cackling Blade doesn't go with any virtues that do any damage, really. So let's just give it Virtue of Purity, give it a 5-up ward, and having that as the general is fine. I would say let's make it not the general, and we'll go to this one, this Baron, who is... obviously, you want both of them to have Exile's Vow. Do they both have Exile's Vow? They do both have Exile's Vow. Fantastic. You've gone Frontier Accent, Lucky Heirloom. Isn't that the reroll item? Yeah, we don't need that. So the Frontier Axe wants to go with the Virtue of Knightly Temper. This is the damage combination. So you get the extra attacks D3 and Hatred. So you go from 4 attacks hitting on 4s into like the beefy stuff. So that's 2 hits on average, to an average of 6 attacks hitting on 4s re-rolling, which is 4.5. So you over double your efficiency by giving it the Virtual Knight in the Temper. It's a huge force multiplier, and it's the best weapon you've got. Then you go with a Charm Shield, because you really don't want to die to a cannonball. And the other thing I really like giving it is either Syrian's Locket, if it's your general, makes you immune to multiple wounds, so you're not going to get sniped out by cannons, or you go with the Grummel Great Helm, gives you +1 to your armor save. I quite like this if you're ever going into anything a bit harder, because it gives you a 3-up save in combat, given that you're going to be using a two-handed weapon. I think realistically it's probably just Syrian's Locket and a Charm Shield, and that gives you a decent amount of protection. Make this one the general. Poor effect. You've been using the Cackling Blade with Knightly Temper for max attacks. Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, if you think about the two models, all of your damage realistically comes from the characters. I would look how many points you haven't spent in characters and spend more points in characters. That would be my advice. So we've got 2 kick-ass barons here. One of them is the Frontier Axe character that can, on its own, or well, within the unit, really just put out incredible amounts of damage. The only downside to it is that it's only strength 6. It can't really go toe-to-toe with a dragon. Nothing in this list can really go toe-to-toe with a dragon, unfortunately. But yeah, that's really solid. Then we've got this one here, which is just going to be, you know, a good amount of attacks, and you didn't need to give it anything else to benefit. So then we've got the Paladin. We've got BSB, Totem of Wrath, Bard of Pegasus. Okay. And then you've gone for 2 units of Pegasus Knights. So I would say the way that I would do this is go for 1 unit of Pegasus Knights and spend more points in characters. Unless you have some sort of comp. 5 units here, and let's go with the Totem of Wrath here. And then we'll swap this one over to Banner of Shalons. The reason is it's easier to snipe out a Paladin, but also you can only have a certain number of models in the front rank. You can't have more characters than you can have rank and file in the front rank in combat. So you're pretty likely this Paladin just going to be sat in the back. The other thing that you want to make sure that you're going for is Magic Resist 2. If you need to shave points, you can go for the Spell Eater Axe, which will actually do that here, because it's unlikely that you get 2 Barons and a Paladin into the front ranks. It means that you're 6 wide with your Pegasus Knights. So let's just assume that you're not getting there, and we're just going to go Charm Shield on this as well, give you a little bit of protection. Barded Pegasus, Exiles, Vow, all of that good stuff. So we've got some great characters here, and we're going to round them out with, unless it's comped, the Green Knight. The Green Knight is unbelievably good. It is so solid. Its damage is kind of anemic now, but what it does with coming in and charging immediately from terrain, or coming in and being able to pressure your opponent, coming back if they manage to kill it, there's so much value you can get out of this thing, and I'd really recommend running it. I think it gives you, because I'm recommending you go for a single unit of Pegasus Knights, it gives you another threat that you can throw around the table, but this one into some armies is just like, people don't have an answer for it other than combat res, so you can set the pace of the game with that one. Cool. Bombards are great. And I think the only other thing that you might want to put in is you sometimes want to go for the Virtue of the Impetuous Knight. Because you're veteran, you get the reroll on Impetuous anyway, so you're very unlikely to fail, but it does give you plus D3 to your declarable charge and plus D3 to the result of the charge roll. So it gives you more consistency getting in. You're less likely to have a bad charge and lose a couple of models on the way in, which doesn't happen often, but it sucks when it does happen. I don't think we've got points for that right now because we're here, but let's just say something like 4 units of 6 Yeomen and the Knights of the Realm on foot. There's nothing else here that we need. There's nothing that we need to drop points-wise. The Virtue of Purity is a luxury that we maybe have to drop, but I don't really want to. Maybe we just go 6, 6, 6, and then 5 on the Yeoman, and then one of the Peasant Bowmen gets an extra point. This core you can play around with a lot. Like, you play it the way that you want to. This would just be my recommendation for, like, you're going to stand on objectives. It's going to be really hard for your opponents to get points out of you. But if you want to go with just like, you know, I maybe wouldn't go for the brick of the Knights of the Realm on foot. Maybe I'd go Mounted Yeoman, single unit of 5 Knights of the Realm on foot, and then just the rest in a squad of the Yeoman Guard. Yeah, something like that I think looks really good. So we'll go with that for the list. But the characters, like, this is very nice. You can also shave points elsewhere. So we're 29 points over. If you go to 500, I'm just going to tweak this and hold on. I'm copy and pasting this at like so. Who's putting that? Yeah, you need to. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay, so let's get the points just down to 500 on the. Okay, 503. That's about as close as we can get. We can drop the Virtue of Purity as well. And then I don't think there's really anything else that I would recommend dropping here. Yeah, this is about as min as you could go. You can drop the Syrian's Locket, but I think it's a little bit risky. So it's really hard to fit a wizard in, because the Outcast Wizard's like 130 something. Yeah, you'd probably want to go. I would recommend something like Battle Magic with Ruby Ring of Ruin and a Lore Familiar. That's a setup that I really like. I guess it's been a while since I've played around with Exiles. Maybe you just can't go with that and also the BSB. Like, I actually think the BSB might be the thing to drop. But this is the yeah, this is it. You struggle with Cordits and Big Bricks, so I assume the players don't get range harrying. Okay, just so in that case, for you, go like 2 or 3 units of Mounted Yeomen, 1 Big Brick of the Yeoman Guard, and then a couple of units of Archers, and then yeah, you stay at range. You just like walk around, you hide around terrain, you touch the objectives with your fast stuff, but keep it as safe as possible, and just make it so that if your opponent comes to remove you from an objective, you make it really inefficient for them to do so. If a Lord Hero is part of a unit that has the Monster Hunter Tapestry, is in a challenge with the dragon, can the dragon still stomp that Lord Hero? Unfortunately not. Banners apply to the whole unit. I say unfortunately not. I'm currently playing non-dragon armies. Chaos Dwarves have stomps. Never mind. Unfortunately not, we'll say. You know what? Speaking of dwarves... No worries, Tamriel. Let's go to Zephyrus' list, who is talking about Dwarf Dwarves. Dwarf Dwarves. And this has got some context in the Discord. Let's see. What do we got here? Tomb King list, I'm thinking... Wait. Oh, this is Tomb Kings. I don't know why I thought this list was dwarves. I've clicked it and it's Tomb Kings. Alright, let's look at this one. You're welcome, Byron. Tomb King's list, I'm thinking of running for a tournament with square-based comp. Wanting to run Royal Host and Chariots, but I found not running mass infantry spam as Royal Host is quite self-nerfing. That's fair. Looking for thoughts, I've never played a Monster Mash style list before. Interesting. Hierophant stays at the back of the skirmishes, and everything else is full send, typically with the 2 kings staying together so the heralds can tank early hits for each other as needed. Okay. So this is... Sure. Okay, so Double Decker Sphinx is a great place to start if you're doing Monster Mash. Then you've gone 1 dragon with Conqueror's Blade Warding Splint. Is Conqueror's Blade the, like, Killing Blow one? Is that the... I don't know that I think there's a lot of value in this, because if you're going into an infantry model, do you really need Killing Blow? Like, is that something that you're going to struggle, like, a Tomb King on a dragon, is that going to struggle to kill infantry models? I don't think it will. And otherwise, it's just a great weapon, and it doesn't do anything else. Sure, if you kill the general in combat, you get 100 points. So I would say no. If you're going for a magic weapon, I don't like the Crook and Flail of Radiance, but I can see a place for it, in that it's doing the D3 extra attacks. Sorry, no, I don't mean that at all. I'm talking absolute rubbish. I was talking... Which one am I talking? Flail of Skulls, there we go. The Multiple Wounds 2. It's like a cheap Ogre Blade. And it is very cheap, but it's got bad AP, and the strength is only on the turn that you charge. So I don't love that. But that is one of the things you could do. Destroy of Eternities, I think, is interesting, but we don't have... Oh, no, that's... No, that's not worth it on a dragon at all. So I'd just go with a great weapon, frankly. Yeah. What did you give it? You gave it the Warding Splint. We'll save some points. What if you just gave the dragon the 4-up ward save? That feels pretty good. We can give it the shield as well. You've only got a 5-up save in combat, but you've got a 4-up ward the rest of the time. I think that is a better allocation of points Like, the weapon is going to be exactly the same most of the time. In fact, I think it's going to be better, because I don't think the magic weapon has armor bane. You should still be able to kill infantry pretty well. If you need more output into infantry because you haven't, you're going into something with like the Monster Hunter Tapestry, I don't think that weapon's going to save you with only 4 attacks. And the extra durability should be pretty nice. Then we've got a chariot with the Ogre Blade. I do like this. Theoretically, I like this with a Paymaster's Coin. I feel like if you're going hard, go hard or go home. You haven't got a dragon to lean on here, so we're really going for everything on the character. How many points is it for a potion of fervor is 30? Okay. D3 additional attacks with an Ogre Blade would have been nice, but Paymaster's Coin is as good as in some ways. Evening Midlife Dice. And yeah, then we've got the Royal Herald, which is really tanky, but it's on foot. Huh. I feel like this is meant to be on a chariot, and you maybe just haven't clicked that. Because this is what I would do with it. I'd put it on a chariot and you have it near the Tomb Kings, right? I'm assuming that's the goal. Icon of Rakaf. It's got to go in here. There's no infantry for it to join. Yeah, it's definitely meant to be on a chariot. That's fine. Okay. It says you need a Hierophant, but one of these will be... Huh. There's no option to click Hierophant on this. Alright. Sure. Maybe this is a new update that's been pushed, and then this list was written before then. But the Mortuary Priest will obviously be the Hierophant. Yeah, not a lot of rezzing to go into the bricks, but that's kind of the experience when you've got the full send Tomb King skeleton brick. Monster Hunter Tapestry on here is interesting. That's probably good, actually. It means that you don't just get absolutely ruined by enemy monsters. And then the Horse Archers. Horse Archers are really nice. You have to take unit Skeleton Archers, and then the Skeleton Skirmishers as well. This looks good, honestly. I think maybe... I guess the Horse Archers... Have they got... They've got Swift Stride. They can double duty as soaking a challenge, but I'm worried that they're going to give up so many points of combat res to the enemy that you don't actually get any value out of it. So I'm going to say let's drop the unit champions here. How many points are we over? A few. Yeah. There's not really anything I want to drop in the character slot. I think that just looks good. And I don't really want to drop a chariot. I don't really want to drop the skirmishers either. Maybe you drop one chariot because you can then go 3x2 because you've got the Royal Herald in there as well. That might be the way to do things. I'm a little uncomfortable with doing that, but it's probably correct. And then all of the skeleton skirmishes in the back line. These being 7s is nice, but this being a 10 and this being a 12 make me a little uncomfortable. But we don't have enough points to do anything meaningful to it. So I guess we just go for 13 on this. Like, I feel like the core wants to be tweaked a little bit, but I don't actually know how I'd want to tweak the core. There's definitely a way to do it, but it's not... Yeah... It's not this. No, I think this is fine. I'm just not 100% satisfied with the core, and I will... Oh, we need to put another model in. No, we're good. Yeah, I'm not 100% satisfied with the core, but I think everything around it is good. So if you have any thoughts about how you want to tweak the core, Dan, then do feel free to tweak at your leisure. Cool. Well, you tell you what, now there's a few of you here. I'm so rusty. You know, I've not been streaming as much recently, and I've forgotten how to do everything. If you're here and you haven't already, please give the stream a thumbs up. Would really appreciate that. Helps us get picked up by the algorithm, and you can tell the difference because I haven't said it. We're sat at about 30 viewers, which is lovely to have you all here, but just a bit below what we normally get on the Friday night streams. Probably would have more if I've been more consistent recently. The other thing is, obviously, anyone who's seen the video I put out on yesterday will have seen that the channel is sponsored by Beowulf Miniatures now. And there's, pictures of the models that I had in there, some nice shots in there. You can go to the website at beowulfminiatures.com. But also, he's going to be at Salute and he said which stall he was going to be at on. It's going to be at stand TJ15. So if you're interested in going, he said he was mostly going to take stuff like terrain, because obviously you can take models, but people are going to have fairly varying opinions on what they want to see with those. Going to be lots of terrain, because terrain is apparently the hardest thing to buy online, because you can't tell what the quality is, or it's very hard to tell what the quality is going to be like until you get there. So if you're interested in Warhammer terrain, you're at Salute, then TJ15 is the stall that Beowulf Miniatures will be at. And it's fairly new to have sponsors for the channel. I've got a referral link for Element Games that I've been working with for a while, which is nice. But if you are there and you do see him, do please pass on that I sent you. It'll be, given that I'm getting support from him, it'll be nice to hear that it's worth his time. All right, cool. So, yeah, I think this is solid. The main problem you're gonna have is that the skeleton list is probably just not. Oh wait. There's going to be 2 chariots in there. Bugger. You don't need to fill out the second rank, because you're probably going 4 wide, right? Yeah, I think that's still fine. The problem that you're going to have is just the skeletons are so squishy for their points compared to the infantry brick. But I think this is a fairly good version of it. Maybe I'd sacrifice a unit of skeleton horse archers or something like that and go for another couple of models in there. In fact, what happens if we do that? Oh, we're 1 point over. Okay, I'm not messing around. I've posted it already. But yeah, a couple more skeleton chariots would be good. Sweet. Let me move that one up. So we've done some Chaos and we've done some Tomb Kings. I even labelled the list dwarves here. I'm obviously out of it. Let's move on to some actual dwarves, because I do want to talk about some dwarves. And this is Phoenix's list, which is X-Force. So this is the latest iteration of your X-Force list. To practice for my GT in May, I went to an RTT and finished 3-0 against Cathay, Beastmen, Bretonnians and Lizardmen. Those felt like good matchups for the list. I'm less sure about Undead armies, yeah. Shooting is pretty rough for Undead. As in, like, it's hard to kill enough. So normally, from what I'm hearing, is X-Force lists have mostly dropped the cannons, which I think is interesting, because I do like the magical cannons, and that's one of the angles of strength you have into Undead. You can just try and snipe their banshees with magical shooting. Obviously, there's lone character protection, so you have to drop it directly on their head, but you haven't got anything else to shoot at, so you may as well. Function of the fawn means they're a little bit squishier, but they get to move, right? Spinny wheel. Loses the move and shoot special rule and loses toughness. Hey, Justin, you're Phoenix from Discord. Very nice. So you're going heavy on the sappers, which makes sense, because obviously they are the thing that makes the list tick. I feel like I'd be tempted in your shoes to not go as heavy into the infantry. I'd probably go for 2 units. So in my mind, it'd probably be the Thunderers and the Rangers. Drop the Warriors. You can maybe drop a sapper at that point, and that frees up what? The better part of 330 points. And then you can put way more copters in. Because they're what? 60-ish per? 330? That's looking at 5, 6 if you make some other cuts. And you get a lot more shooting out of the list there. And I think that shores up the bad matchups a little bit better. Not the Undead one, to be clear. Undead, I think, remains difficult. But yeah, or you could maybe put like 4 extra copters in, and then go bigger on the Thunderers, for example. So like I would do this, get rid of this. And then we've got Spurlock's great, Sapper, Runesmith, good. Load out on the Runesmith, I do like that. Then we've got the Thane with the Bursting Flame, and then we've got the Thane, BSB, Rune of Passage. Okay, so we've got double Rune of Passage. I don't think we need a third one. Yeah, cool, that's great. And then these, like, maybe we just go a little bit bigger on them. Given that we're not leaning on a third unit. We're probably putting 2 characters in each, so let's say 18, and then push this one up to 19 if there's an odd number of characters in there, for example. And then we're looking at probably another 2 scout copters, and then maybe 2 regular copters as well. The question becomes, do you even give them the clatter guns? Probably. And I also don't know if you run them solo. Like, there is a world where... Is it correct to run individual copters? Because this list has got a lot of drops already, even without me adding additional stuff in. I guess it didn't have that many drops, did it? It had 3 units here plus 2, so 5 war machines for 6, characters for 7. That's relatively high. Yeah, like, I feel like the solo copters here give you some early drops that you can put down. They're relatively tanky. I'll be clear, I don't know if solo copters is correct, or if you should run them as 2s. Like, it might just be that you run them as 2s. I saw solo with steam gun to hunt skirmishes. That is a very good shout, actually. Yeah, I have also seen those. They're so cheap, and you could probably fit 3 of those in. Oh, you could almost fit 3 of those in. What have I done here? I've gotten too many scout copters. Scout Eurocopters. I've been cracking out my my favourite joke on unsuspecting people, where I'm like, gonna go get a sandwich from my favourite Greek store, and then I'll point to Tesco's and be like, Tesco's. No one laughs. Not a single person. No, that's not true. I've had one person laugh. It is a joke for me, and it's a joke that I I enjoy immensely. Cool, so I guess we drop 1 ranger here. So, like, this would be the direction that I'd go. And this gives you more mobility. It gives you some very early drops that you can put down. You know you're probably not getting the +1 to go first, which does suck for a shooting army. But, like, you're a faux shooting army. Like, you're a shooting/durability army, right? Because the sappers are ridiculous. I assume you're playing it that the sappers can do their test in either command phase, because it's written poorly. I believe that's just how people play it. I think it should be FAQ'd, but it's just... it's not this one. It's... dig in. During any command subphase. Like, or maybe it's not even poorly written. It just says any command subphase. So I guess that's really clear. It just feels wrong for there to be a rule that applies in your opponent's turn in a game where we don't have interactive activations. There's no command points. There's no reactions or anything like that. It's just like you can react to a charge. I guess there are some. Anyway, it feels wrong to me. But, yeah, such a strong rule. Such a strong rule. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
You playing TSN next week? Can you stop beating me? Thank you.
I'm not currently signed up, but I'm talking to Rob after the stream, and I'd love to go. My mate Craig's going. As for beating you, no, I will not stop. I will continue to do so to the best of my ability, having a great time playing the games. And, I mean, I beat you and then finished below you the last time we both played at an event. That was rough. That would be rough. Justin says, if it was not the case, you could never move and have entrench. And I think that should be how it goes. Like, it's called dig in. I don't think you should be able to move and also be dug in. This is like a thematic grumble. I understand that dwarves are not overpowered, so I'm not like lobbying for them to be changed, but this is one of the rules that rubs me the wrong way in Old World that I don't love. But, you know, if I'm playing it, I'm going to be using it. So I guess that's a level of hypocrisy that I'll just have to live within myself. Get signed up. The list you just fixed will beat you. Alright, we'll see. We'll see. I'll definitely be down because my mate's playing, but I should be there. That's Flavor says, let me interrupt you there, I'm digging in. It's not my command phase! We've done the command phase. We're 54 minutes into the stream, which lasts for somewhere between 2 to 2.5 hours, and that means that this must be... I guess we're probably wrapping up the movement phase, or like middle of the movement phase. Anyway, yeah, this is the direction I go with. I should probably play this list. I think it's a shooting list that is much less prevalent. And I think it'd be interesting to play around with, because I think a lot of the power doesn't come from the shooting. Because the shooting's not that good. The shooting's okay. Like, don't get me wrong, the shooting's not bad. This little fucker is incredible. The Rangers and the Thunderers are solidly fine. The scout copters are solidly fine, but it doesn't have the volume like the old Cathay. So I think it'd be interesting to play around and be like, hey, I'm playing a shooting list, but my goal is not to table you. Yeah, maybe I should bust that one out. I don't know. I don't know what I do for balloons, because I've... balloons. I don't know what I do for the copters, because they just seem like not only are they incredibly expensive, they're, I think, a bit of a pain in the ass. They seem like they're really... gonna break very quickly. Alrighty then. The Thane with the ridiculous gun. It is ridiculous. When he came out, I was playing skirmish shenanigans, and he's ruined my life. I was out here doing fun things with Skaven, and Richie was beating me at tournaments, because I was like, I've got 25 gutter runners that are doing ridiculous things, and I've given them magic resist and minuses to hit. Oh, you killed 7 of them. I guess I'll flee off the board now. It was bad times. It was rough out here. Leadership 7 on Skaven is not the place to be. Cool. Let's go with... Thane with an autocannon. Hell yeah. Big Ive says, could you please fix my son's vampire count list? We're going to a competition in May. We have access to most units in vampire counts. He tends to play aggressively, charging the Mortis engine up and getting into combat by turn 2. It's a good tactic for him 60% of the time. It works every time. That is wild. I've never heard of anyone wanting to get the Mortis engine into combat. On the upside, it's not the general, so that's something at least.
Ed, I want to run 2 to 3 units of chaos, spawn each 2 to 3 models. Any quick tips and ways of buffing them?
Hey Phil, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate that. Oh, any ways to run them? 2 to 3 units of chaos spawn at 2 to 3 models each. I think that might be too much. That would be my recommendation. I believe that you can run like 10% of your list as an inefficient choice and not have it hurt your chance of winning too much. Obviously, if you're playing at the top levels where every advantage matters massively, sure. But if you're playing, you know, even at a tournament, you'll find that 3 or 4 of the games, the fact that you've made a slightly suboptimal choice is not the end of the world. You can run a bone grinder. I'm going to give you shit for it, but it won't ruin your list. It's just you could have done more efficient things with those points. Now, Chaos Spawn are like 50 points each, if I remember correctly. And in fact, they don't have the points on here. God damn it. I'm just going to very quickly have a look. Chaos Spawn, 50 points, and it's a few points per model to add the marks. So, I don't think they're terrible. I don't think they're good, but I don't think they're terrible. And what I would say is you're leaning on a very poor movement stat, but it is random movement. So if you can park them behind a hill, you can get something out of it. They're also, unfortunately, what was I going to say? They're also, unfortunately, close order, open order. So they don't get to move in any direction they want. So they're even slower than you'd think that they might be. I would say probably Spawn of Khorne would be the way to go because they get Killing Blow. And you take like a single unit of 2 and you put them behind a hill and you charge up and you hope that you roll high on the hits. And then you hope that the weapon skill 3 doesn't cost you. And then you hope that you get a good number of 6s out there for the Killing Blow. Because you've only got... You know, you've got AP, Armor Bane 2, but you've got no AP on your attacks. They are not great, but I'd run, like, just a unit of 2 Khorne Spawn would be the way to do it, in my mind. I don't think they're terrible, it's so nice. Yeah, like, if you look at the stat line, T5 with 3 wounds that's just something. They've got heavy armor, which is not really going to matter much, but random movers are inherently just strong. So even if you've got a bad random mover, you're getting some value out of it. What I would say as well is, the problem is stuff like Giant Chaos Spawn compares so favorably to them. So you can run 3.5 regular Chaos Spawn, or you could run 1 gigantic Nurgle Spawn. And that Nurgle Spawn is going to really not die unless your opponent focuses on it. So it might eat cannonballs or something like that. And it's going to move further and it's going to hit harder. That's the big problem that you've got here, which is like the opportunity cost. But yeah, if you were going to do it, I'd say a unit of 2 Khorne Spawn and just try and get them up behind terrain as fast as possible. Okay, back to the list. Yes, Big Ives, you've turned up at the right time. So, Yeah, Mortis Engine charging up the board. This is really funny, because you've got a Sword of Might on there with 2 attacks. I'm not sure I'm paying 20 points to buff 2 attacks, but I do like the Hand of Dust. The Hand of Dust is legit. Bound spell, power level 2, and it's an assailment, 2d6 strength 5 hits at AP1, which is pretty fun. I wonder if you might have a better time, instead of doing this, going for a vampire on a Coven Throne. It's very similar. It's still a heavy chariot, but it's a heavy chariot that wants to be in combat instead of one that probably doesn't. So that would be my recommendation here. Coven Throne, I think, starts off with a 3-up save? No, okay. So it's still, T5, it's still 8 wounds. You've got a 4-up armor save. You've got actual lancers on the Spirit Horde. Do you have lancers on the Spirit Horde of the Mortis Engine? I'm not 100% sure you do. Okay, they do still have, so it's the same. But I would say your best bet would be get rid of this very funny but confused model and go with a vampire count. Something just like Great Weapon, level 1 Wizard with Illusion I think is fantastic for this, because you're just going to pick Glittering Robes. You're going to be casting that, getting the -1 to hit, which is going to give you way more durability than you'd have on the other one. Talisman of Protection on here. Just keep it simple. It's an 8-wound chariot. It wants to get up into combat. Jobs are good in there. And you can still give it the Hand of Dust for 35 points. Now, it is more expensive. It's about 30 or 40 points more expensive in comparison to what you were running before, which sucks. That does suck. But I feel like you're going to get a lot more value out of it. Oh, Phil saying the Warpfire Dragon in rare. Okay, yeah. Like, I respect that. It's like, hey, I want to put Spawn in, but also I want a Warpfire Dragon. Let's go for Spawn at home. I get that. And, hey, if you're running 2 dragons in character slots, not saying you necessarily are, and you're running 500 points of core, and you're running a 405-point Warpfire Dragon, you've got about 100 points. 2 giant spawn. I don't know what I'm putting in those 100 points. I'd normally put more core in. Take 600 points of core. Obviously, you can take like the solo Shartak, but I've talked about not finding that particularly useful. Yeah, War for Dragon, 2 giant spawn. Jobs are good. Hand of Dust is Necromancy. What? Necromancers only? Man, I wish I could read. Oh, it is Necromancers only. That's a real shame. That's a real shame. Damn. I would still recommend, if you wanted a chariot to go forwards, this is better. But this is less fun if you're not doing that, I will say. Well, that's a bummer. That is a bummer. I think I'm going to have to re-import the list because I don't really want to have to re-import that thing. So let me... boom. Import list... Boom. Okay. So if we're assuming we're not doing what I just said, because then you don't have the fun thing. Okay. So my point about changing this over to a vampire is still the same. I'm not going to change this in the list, but if that is okay with you, change it to a level 1 vampire, Coven Throne, Talisman of Protection, no other upgrades needed. You will get, in my mind, more value out of that than you will for the Necromancer. Then we've got this Necromancer who is Scepter of Neuro, Dark Magic. Dark Magic is wild. Yeah, man, there are some choices in here. There are some real choices in here. And I don't mean that in that they're bad, but I've just twigged that it's an illusion caster, and that's why I've got the Sword of Might. Okay. Fuck. Right, we're doing this then. No Spell Familiar, no Hand of Dust. I'm sorry. Goodbye, Hand of Dust. Where's it gone? Lore Familiar Power Scroll. If you're going Illusion for Spectral Doppelganger, let's do Spectral Doppelganger. Let's do it correct. Because then with your Sword of Might, you're still pretty okay. That would be how I'd go with it. There we go. That makes more sense in my mind. If you're leaning one way or the other. We're going to do wizard fighting. I love wizard fighting. Even Beowulf miniatures. Thank you again. And a reminder. I did say earlier. But anyone at Salute, the stall that Beowulf will be at is TJ15. Where there'll be plenty of terrain. So you can establish whether you like the terrain or not. Whereas you can't do that online. Alright. I keep looking at things and my brain keeps breaking. So, Graveguard are good, but let's just give them the banner that's really good. And then the banner that you've got here, the Drakenhof banner, let's put that on the Monster Hunter Tapestry. The reason you run it that way around is, A, it's better to fill up points in core if you can, but B, you can't have the character sniped out. If you lose the Monster Hunter Tapestry, that sucks. If you lose the 5-up regen, that's really bad. So doing it that way around is better. Also, I don't see a reason for Meteor Hammer. You've only got 2 attacks with your White Lord, so you really don't need anything like that on here. I would just go with, if we get rid of Meteor Hammer, just a Charm Shield. Charm Shield great hand weapon is fine, or you can go for a great weapon. Both of those are absolutely fine, but given that it's the BSB, I would go for that. You've then got the White Lord with the Helm of Commandment. I would just put the Helm of Commandment on this one here, and the thing that you can free up. Where are we going? Helm of Commandment. It's all the way down here. Cool. We drop the 84 points here, and then we spend 90 points. You get another Tomb Banshee. Boom. Immediately more use there. This character here is frying my brain as well. The Dark Magic on foot character, but we're going with it. We'll give them a spell familiar because you really want to be casting the spells that you're getting. So if we're committing to the bit, we've got the Spectral Doppelganger character here with a power scroll, so you're likely to get it off. 5-spell Dark Magic, so you're likely to get the Battle Lust and the Word of Pain. White Lord, just doing everything that both of the other ones were doing. Double Tomb Banshee. The Graveguard. What are they missing? It'd be nice to give them Drilled. Why would Renegades do this to me? Yeah, I don't know, Rob. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. But I do like the big brick of worries that you've got here, honestly. This is a solid brick. You don't normally see it because zombies are just so points efficient. Like, you're paying 290 points for a pretty hard to shift brick. What if you just paid 60 points 5 times and got, 5 units that you could res up to 40 models? That's obviously way more efficient, but I don't think Skeleton Warriors are bad. I think this is like a solid thing to have in, and I also love that you've got musicians in there. I do think the Graveguard want Drilled. It just makes them so much easier to move around on the tabletop. Anytime that you win combat, you can follow up or charge. Instead of having to start super wide, whenever you find a combat that you want to be wider, you can commit that way. So I would say also, generally you want to go Obsidian Lodestone on them. We'll give them a Charm Shield. We're not going super competitive with this army, so I'm not going to bother putting the Obsidian Lodestone on. I think, it doesn't seem to me like we're just going for the same cookie cutter vampire list, because if we were doing that, it'd be obvious what to play. You could just go and find any vampire count list that plays exactly the same. So given that we're not doing that, I think the extra bodies over the Obsidian Lodestone actually may be the correct choice. We do need to shave some points, though. We're 81 points over. Fellbats are incredible. Really love a squad of 3. I don't mind the Direwolves. I'd say we probably drop them here just in terms of what we've got points-wise. I'd love to have them. They're really nice. They've got reserve move. They've got Vanguard as well. But we're struggling for points. You know what? No. We're going to put them back in. We're going to put 5 of them back in, and we're going to lower the number of models in the Skeleton Warriors. That's the way to do it. So we'll go down to 40 here. Warbanner's good. Man. We could drop the Hellwraith on this unit. You don't want them to be challenged out. Typically, I would say you don't want to be challenged out here. If you had more models in the squad, so you could survive losing the combat to max overkill, having the unit champion's nice, but I think in this case it's no good. And is there anything else we can drop? 25 points? I think it just might be another 5 skeletons, so we just go down to 35. Yeah, it's a bit smaller than I'd be comfortable with, but it's fine. I think this looks good. We've committed to the bit that you've gone with, and I do like it. I am very amused that the game plan is charge the Morphs engine in. So I'd love to see that on the table. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Perfect. Perfect. Where's this list? It's up at the top, isn't it? Because I had to respawn it in. Your son says thanks. You're very welcome. I hope he's having a great time playing. Hope he is. Let's go with Empire next. I reckon that'll be a fun one. Hobby Prince's Empire list says some Empire fanatics. Can they be more competitive? I haven't even looked at this list, so I'm curious to see what we're going with. Fiery Heart! Fiery Heart and Flagellants. Okay. Okay, you were sent by the devil to test me. I see how this is. Why would you do this to me? For God's sakes. How's dwarf support looking? How do you mean? How do you mean? So you get plus initiative, you get hatred, wizards and orcs and goblins, and you reroll 1 to hit and wound. Okay, Fiery Heart is nice. I do like Fiery Heart in that it gives you the reroll 1 to hit and wound, which is pretty good on characters. Flagellants win from Dragons, Games Workshop told me so. Yeah. The irony is, I think they said that before 1.5, right? Because it's now probably true, because they've got enough standard combat res in there. What do they got? They don't have Horde. Close order. They have a standard, so they've got 5 static combat res. Rank, banner, close order, infantry outnumber. So they will beat a dragon most of the time. Once. And then they're unbreakable, so they can tie them up. But yeah, it's Hey. Hey, hi Mog. The Empire related referring to the Empire related dwarf support. I am confused by that one. Sorry, mate. Not quite following. Empire related dwarf support. Oh, right. Was this your list? Because your list was looked at last stream, I haven't got it in this one. But thank you for submitting. All right, so let's look at this. What are we working with? So we've got a Grandmaster with a lance, Order of the Fiery Heart. Then we've got the Chapter Master BSB with Totem of Wrath on a warhorse. And we've got a War Altar, Talisman Protection, and then a foot character priest. Okay. If only dragons had a way to win. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. Okay, so you've gone for a Death Star around the Inner Circle Knights. And you've got Totem of Wrath. Let's just put Totem of Wrath on this unit instead of having it on the Chapter Master. I think that makes more sense. Because, again, you just can't be sniped out. These Demigryphs definitely want to go for full plate. And you're going to be putting the Grandmaster in there, so they definitely want to go for the unit champion at the very least, even if you're not going for a standard bearer. But would I go for a standard bearer? Maybe not, I don't know. The Lecter is doing their thing. War Altar, it's a 3-up save and a War Altar, is it? No, 4-up, okay. Ooh. I mean, the world is not bad. It's just not. It's not good. You know, it's a lot of stats. It's a lot of good rules. First charge is really nice. Impact hits is solid if you ever get them off. Stubborn is nice. It's it's like a poor man's steam tank. Holy Fervor. Sure, it's like a mini BSB in a way. And Symbol of Might increases the range on it, so it's an actual BSB. And then, yes, it's there. So, I think... Jack, you said, what do I mean I submitted my list today? Yes. So, anyone whose list was looked at last stream is lower on the priority to give people a chance to... so it's not just the same people having their lists looked at every time. So, I only go back one stream's worth, but if your stream list was looked at the last time I did a stream, then... other people's lists get priority over it. Is your list planned for today? Hi Mog, I don't know what your Discord username is. Yeah, so okay, so obviously the flagellants are terrible, unfortunately, because they don't score. If this was in core, at 13 points a model, I still don't consider them to be good, but I could see like a play for them. It's just I don't know what they're going to do, because they probably don't kill much. Yes, I think yours is in. So I don't know. I struggle with flagellants. If you want to run them because you want to run them, that's fine. But I don't know how we make them more appealing. And I probably wouldn't put a character into them, because then it's throwing like good money after bad, right? So I'd say probably we don't bother with this character in there, even if we do put another character back in. These are lances drilled. I think genuinely you probably just don't bother with the standards on these two, because they're very likely to die. I think you mostly use them for a little bit of like punch, turning off rank bonus with first charge, but I don't think they've got enough punch to make it worth taking the standard on them, because you're not expecting them to win combats alone. So we probably want more character support. The Inner Circle Knights with Toma Wrath is nice. I think... Can we go for a second Grandmaster? No, it's 0 to 1. Of course it is. Wait, does that mean we can only have a single character? Oh no, we can have a Lector of Sigmar. Okay. Lector of Sigmar who has bad stats. God damn it. Man. Okay. I think we try and turn this unit of Inner Circle Knights into an actual Death Star. Like, that's probably the most we can get out of them, I think. Given that you got reroll 1s to hit and wound, it's kind of wasted a little bit with the Totem of Wrath, but we go here. We're going to give this the Cackling Blade, and we're going to put it in with the Death Star. Get rid of that lance. At which point we can also go... Like, is it even worth going for a ward save? Maybe twice blessed armor here, and we just like really double down on doing as much as possible. No. We'll go White Cloak. We'll put the ward save on the model. We'll give him a shield. And this is just a tanky or tanky-ish, punchy-ish Grandmaster. And then we've got this going in with it, and then we've got the... We'll go down to 10, because we're going 2 characters in there. Okay. Then we'll go for another Chapter Master with on a Demigryph. And we'll go with the twice blessed armor, charm shield, and a lance. And this is going to go in with the unit of 2 Demigryphs. I think that would be how I tweak this around, and then we just need to drop 13 points to get us there, which is hard to do. Honestly, hard to do. Don't really want to drop anything here. Oh, I thought they had great weapons there for a second.
Any green things today?
Hey, Amy. Hope you're doing well. I don't think there is actually any orcs and goblins here, I'm afraid. The closest is going to be, there's a Chaos Dwarf list which might have some hobgoblins in. And by that I mean probably has some hobgoblins in. Yeah, I guess that's kind of that. We could drop the Preceptor for 7 points. Like, it'd be nice to have it, but it's not the end of the world. I was more thinking you, like, protect the character from being challenged, but since it's a cheaper character, I kind of care less, you know. And then 6 points over. There's not a smooth way of... Oh. We can drop a Flagellant. We can drop a Flagellant. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier, which means that we can go back to having the unit champion there. And I think that is the best I can do with this version. I say this, I think, every time it comes up, but every, like, month or so, I get the urge to write a list for not for Fireheart specifically, for Knightly Orders, and then, like, when I sit down to do it, I get really sad. Because, like, the pieces are there to make them, I think, interesting, but they're so limited in how they can do their list building that it's just, the restrictions kill it. The Green Knight was here earlier. That's true. That is true. There was a Green Knight. Ed ruined me list. Remove flagellants. No, I specifically didn't remove the flagellants. I came from the list before and I said, hey, you can put one bad unit in and it's fine. And then I was immediately treated with some flagellants. So, yeah, that's that, unfortunately. But that's okay. It's only bad if you don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. So, What do we want to go with next? What do we want to go with next? Let's go for something different. We looked at Baron's list already. Having to pay for your army of infamy rules is just wrong. Yeah, like, I don't disagree, although the rules, like, some of them are very good. Like, so, for example, White Wolf getting Furious Charge is, like, that's really tasty. It's just a shame that the restrictions that they have with no wizards make it so hard to play. Like, I'd give up Counter Charge, theoretically, or conditionally, because you could always not put the character in the unit. If I could go, like, here's loads of White Wolf units with loads of Demonology wizards, I think that would genuinely be interesting, but, yeah. Alright. We'll come back to Empire in a few. I don't want to do back-to-back Empire, but we can do that in a couple. Let's go with... Let's save the Chaos Dwarves for now. Let's go back to some Royal Host, but this one I know is Royal Host because I wrote it correctly. So this is Batasai 8064's list. And the context to this was in Discord, I think. So let me just scroll up to that one. B. I think this is... I'm going to have to... Yeah, there we go. So this is for a teams event. Give out as little points as possible against bad matchups while taking some points. And then the dragons going together as easy targets while healing some. Okay, MR1 for some protection against Doppelganger and Filetide. You need more than MR1 for protection, but, like, that's fair. So I think just as, like, a core concept... I think going double dragon and pairing it with the infantry cohort, if you're trying to, like, play points now, I think might be a little flawed. But also, it is, in a way, sort of like the old school dragon approach, where you're like, hey, you can't get points out of my core, and my dragon's going to do all the work. I don't know that the dragons are going to do that much work. I think if I wanted to go down this sort of play style, where you're going infantry plus dragons, I like the Tomb King Death Star, the Tomb Guard Death Star a lot, where you go for characters in a Tomb Guard Death Star. You go double Necrosphinx, you go one dragon, which is usually the Hierophant, Spectral Doppelganger, you know, the Talisman of Protection. It's only a T5 dragon, but it's how you make the points work. I think that works quite well as pressure. This is, I don't think it's bad. I think you're playing Tomb Kings, so at, like, baseline, you're okay. And I think it's an interesting build, in that it's more interesting to play, given that you've got the double cohort, where it's kind of a little bit dull for your opponent to play against if you're just putting all your points into them. But a lot of the strength of this list style is that your opponent can't get points out of you because you've got the infantry cohort. So I think the two aspects of the list are sort of fighting against each other for what they want to do. But I also think it's, you know, it'll still play okay. So, in terms of not changing the playstyle of the list, and we just, like, look at what the list has, we've got two Tomb Kings on dragons. The general is the one with, it's the Hierophant as well. You've given it the upgrade to make it a level 1 wizard, so it can be a Hierophant. And you've gone for Biting Blade, Meteoric Eye, and Talisman of Protection, Obsidian Lodestone. I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's a bad loadout. I don't know how much I care about Ethereal. Like, if you're playing team specifically, do you maybe just say, don't put me into Ethereal? I actually think this list can play quite well into Vampire Count, so maybe you can nullify the Vampire Count matchup with this. Yeah, okay, cool, that's fine. You've paid for a shield, and you've got the Armor of Meteoric Iron, so we can shave 2 points there. Then you've got the second one, which is Armor of Destiny, Obsidian Lodestone. If you're specifically... so the slight point here, whichever one... In terms of what you're trying to pair into, because this is teams, and I don't think you said what you were looking to team and pair into. Yeah, so if you're planning on playing into stuff like Beastmen and Vampire Counts, I would put the Hierophant and the General as the one that's got Armor of Destiny for the 4-up ward save, because you're tankier against those targets. If you're not planning on playing into those, and you're instead planning on, like, soaking the shooting matchups, which this list would do very well into, although you'd probably want to hide your dragons behind terrain and just not give up any points with them and play a very, like, negative points denial version of the list, where you just only play with the infantry cohort and you make people try and, like, pick you off that way. If that's what you want to go into, then the Armor of Destiny character is a bit squishier, and you should probably go for the Armor of Meteoric Iron. So if you're planning on cannons, like fighting cannons, make this the general and the Hierophant. And if you're planning on fighting into undead, enemy undead and also beastmen, this should be the general in my mind. So I'm going to change that over because I think you're actually probably going to have to soak the undead matchups. So we'll go here. And the reason for that is obviously Vile Tide and Scream both ignore armor saves, so you may as well have the better ward save against them. Cool. Single chariot I have to take, double units of infantry. One's got reserve move, one has Monster Hunter Tapestry and poison. I feel like and this is a small nitpick, I'd rather have the one that's got the Banner of the Desert Winds for the reserve move to have the poison. Because I think you're more likely to get value out of that poison because you're more likely to be where you want to be. Because you can move. It's not a big deal, but that, to me, makes more sense. If you've played it and found that actually it works the other way around, ignore what I'm saying, but I think that makes sense to me. Then you've got a couple of units of ambushes. So this is really low drops. I do like that. Honestly, this seems fine. Like, I talked about the general premise, where I think the dragons play against the infantry cohorts, and you're kind of lacking the ability to res. So against some armies, you'll find that those big Death Stars actually do die over enough turns of combat or shooting. But yeah, in terms of this style, I think this is about right. You killed every dragon ogre you ate today. Oh, it was the doubles! Nice. You came second with 3-0 and 50 points. First place had 2. Oh, I see. That does feel rough. That's something I dislike about RTTs. Obviously, people play RTTs because one-day events either work for them or work for the venue. But you just can't get as... If you played another 2 games, there'd be less of a feels bad because it's less likely that one person has an easier run because there's more games for them to have to fight against some difficult opponents. I can't actually. It was Batasai. There we go. Okay, cool. Good stuff. Good stuff there. Let's look at. I've already looked at Baron's list in here as well. Well, good luck to everyone who is going to an event this weekend. Obviously, there's a couple of you in chat who've been talking. You beat Callum, that's all I wanted. Good. What was Callum's partner playing? I assume he was playing Beastman Plus. He was very upset his Beastlord didn't get to touch anything. Oh no, it didn't die to an Ragnarok then. I found the ult to spam against Callum. And I shan't say any more than that. As a tier, it's also more difficult here on the mainland to find a venue for decent enough people for a weekend without costing a kidney for every participant. Yeah, we're super lucky here in the UK that it's just like, yeah, of course an event is 2 days. That's what events are. And then there's a good amount of RTTs on top of that. No bus and spawn. Nice. All right. Cool. Well, you know what? I talked about Chaos Dwarves. I had them on the thumbnail. Let's talk about Colin's list. Now, Colin is one of my coaching students, and apparently a much better Chaos Dwarf player than me, because Colin won his Escalation League with Chaos Dwarves, whereas I have won half my games across the 2 tournaments I've played them with. So maybe I should be getting coaching from Colin. So Colin says, first time doing a fix my list, working up a tight Bull Circus Renegades at 2k built around max pressure with 3 Bull Taurus characters and 2 Iron Demons squeezed into just 5 drops. Interesting. 2k match play guide battles, all for durability, and then we've got 17 Infernal Iron Sworn. This is so I have a lot of 1 hour coaching sessions with Colin, and roughly 40 to 60% of those sessions start with him going, here's my list with Infernal Ironsworn, and we get to the end of the session, he's like, yeah, I'll just take Black Orcs because they're, point for point, just better, and it's hard to get value out of the Ironsworn. But sometimes you just want to use them. Triple March with the Ironsworn, with Drilled, Lamasu's Beard for magic resistant ward, Hobgoblin sit back, Iron Demons are cheap to make the points work. Okay. Alright, cool. Let's have a look then. Let's have a look. So, triple Taurus. Interesting. My initial thought is this better than going for 2 Taurus and a Black Orc on Wyvern, if the points would fit. The points probably don't fit. I think that's probably the issue. God, this is so light on scoring. There's only 2 units. So my first point here is, this is very light on scoring. The Iron Demons not having Hellbound sucks, but I think at 2,000 points, that's probably just reality. Then we've got the Charmed Shield, Mantle of Stone, Double Luck Stone for Castellan. And we've got Mantle of Stone, Talisman of Protection. I'm not sold. I'm not sold that Seneschal is worth the 222 points it's costing. So, and apologies to Colin. What if we just removed this entirely? Put in like a cheap big boss on like a boar chariot and gave it, I guess, Charm Shield, and we just went, hey, it's 6 wounds and it's unlocking the Black Orcs in core, and that gives us another 50 points to play around in core. I think that's better. Also, this character here with 65 points of magic items, I'm not a fan of double Luckstone. I get that you're getting the rerolls out of it. It's I can't remember. It's once per game, right, for the Luckstones? Yeah, single use, reroll, and armor save. I feel like the stuff you're worried about is going to be reducing that 3-up armor save a lot. So I would probably say we just go for the classic Armor of Destiny here. Great weapon, shield. And that just gives us actual durability. Why wouldn't you Hellbound the Iron Demons at 2k? Because they are so expensive. If you want to run 2 of them, you're already eating into your character points here, because you have to run 500 points of core. This is above 500 points already, and it's 35 points per model for the Hellbound, so it's an extra 70 points. I would Hellbound them and make sacrifices elsewhere, but I also see the value in not doing so. This is Talisman of Protection, Mantle of Stone, Full Plate Shield. I think this is fine. So this is cheaper than going for the Meteoric Iron, and it's also better into some things and worse into other things. I've been thinking about dropping Meteoric Iron for a little while, because a lot, like, into some things, anything apart from cannons, it's almost comparably good at. It's worse in combat, but I don't know. And then I think the problem is, like, I see the love of this, but it's 17 models for almost 500 points. I think it, and you know, I feel like a bad man for doing this, given that how frequently we have this conversation. But I think it's probably you just go, you know, here's the unit. Maybe give them Obsidian Lodestone if you really want to. Stubborn Veteran, 9 of each. I might like to go for a bigger unit, but because there's no carrot support, it's a little hard to do. And then we go, hey, we've got 140 to 130 points more to spend on Hogwildens, which probably just becomes something like this. That gets us to minimum points. We don't even have enough points to put in a unit of Sneaky Gits, and we do love Sneaky Gits, Colin and I. We do love Sneaky Gits. The problem is, as well, you said you wanted low drops. So if we do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This goes to a 6th drop. I think we can do 6 drops. And we go for, like, this unit here, and you go, like, 30. Or I guess it'd be 20, 28. I think this is worth doing more. And also, I do want to reiterate, I am sorry for taking your list and removing the Iron Sworn and just putting in the Black Orcs. Now, if this was a normal Fix My List, I would not do that. Because that would be rude. However, I've talked to Colin about this unit many times, and we both love the Iron Sworn, to be clear. We both want the Iron Sworn in there, but it's just very, very hard to fit them in comparatively. I've got the same number of models of Black Orcs. It's over 100 points cheaper. It gives us points to put more things in. But I think, like, his pitch for the Lamasu's beard is good. I just don't know that it fits in. Aren't you missing a Dwarf unit? This is Renegades, so you don't have to run the core unit of Dwarves. Honestly, if this was Legacy, because obviously you can't run the Stellans if it's Legacy, you can only run them in Renegades. But if it's Renegades, if it's Legacy, I think maybe we just drop the Black Orc unit and you just go like a unit of actual dwarves and you just bunker around them and you hold with them. 200 points of Hobgoblins does so much for scoring, 100%. I would have liked to have gone for like a third unit here, but part of what his pitch was the lower drops. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe it's not even the third character here. Yeah, I don't know. I need to work on a 2,000 point Chaos Dwarf list. I'm sure there's one in there. I just don't know what it is. This I think still needs tweaking, but I'm talking to him tomorrow, so we can argue that one through. Fantastic. Okay, let's go to another Empire list. Needs more trains or more trians. I saw that before you deleted it. I got you. Local Chaos Dwarf player uses a large brick of the elite infantry. I think that, like, the problem is when they're on the table they're good, but they're so expensive, and I feel like it's the opportunity cost of what you lose is massive, because it's not just comparing to the Black Orcs. You're going, oh, also you're taking out all of the other scoring in core realistically. Has a flavor. You've been chirping at me this evening. I got my eye on you. I can see you. I'm gonna catch you. How dare you make a typo near me? I got that shit on lock. All right. He runs like 16, it's almost 500 points. Yeah, that's the problem. And into some matchups, that's really good. And into some matchups, it's not good at all. Because they are so vulnerable to shooting. Even with the ward save, like, some armies just rip through that. I think one of the things that I hope for, because obviously the Val's doing the square-based Renegades 2.0 or 3.0, whatever we're up to now. I think Chaos Dwarves could do with having the Infernal Iron brought down in points. They're good, don't get me wrong, but they're like Chaos Chosen. You never see them because they're just so pricey for an infantry model. Does he take Monster Hunters on it? I would, but one of the main pitches you can make for the Lamasu's the Iron Sworn is that you can take the 65-point banner that gives magic resistant ward save. On Polish national championships, he never wanted to play against me in my 20 outrights. There we go. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes the match is just unplayable. It's just unplayable. It's such an expensive unit to lose as well, and you're so low on scoring because you're playing 500 points on it. So, yeah. I want to love them, and I do love them, but I want to use them. I just can't. All right. More Empire rumors. Empire. The list I want to go to a GT with, would love some feedback on it. Unfortunately, I don't have all the models in the Empire roster, so I'm a bit limited. No worries at all. Let's see what we're working with here. This is it Nuln? Yeah, Nuln. Excellent. Good start. Outriders, State Troops, Cannon, Road Warners, Run Stack. This is not a bad list to start off with. I personally think instead of the Steam Tank, I would go either more Outriders or Hellblasters. I think that's a better core. But I don't think the Steam Tank is bad. Just like, if we're going ranking it, I think it's probably Outriders would be my number one choice. It's harder to play, but I think it's a better list overall if you play it well. Then I'd say the Hellblaster Volley Guns. It's just raw power. You put, you go for it, you just try and do as much damage as possible. That's very powerful. It's also not a drop, so it lowers your numbers of drops significantly. They're sort of like here and here, and then I think the Steam Tank's here. But that doesn't mean it's bad. I think it's just a less good choice. Rebby says, don't take the stank. Yeah. I think it's fine, especially if you're running the unit of State Troops. And it depends what you're going for. I think from the perspective of Remy, who is a very practiced player, for anyone who doesn't know, that is our, Team Netherlands player who played Nuln both at Clash of Nations and also the Open, scored top scoring player at the Open back in December. If you're playing the list really well and you've got a lot of reps with it, you can do some disgusting things with the Outriders. You can never be caught, you can get a lot of damage. And what you lose in the Steam Tank is being caught. However, if it's something that you're newer to and you want to have less points to think around with, like if this is something that you're, like if you're coming to a Fix My List and saying like, hey, I'd love some feedback on this list, My assumption is that you're less practiced with this playstyle. Where having the steam tank able to like anchor the veterans, yes, it'll probably die if they put like dragons into it, but it'll take a while for them to chew through. It's unbreakable. I think there is value in that. It's not something that I'd be looking to put in like an international teams list, but if you're going to singles, I don't think it's bad. You know, if you like running it, then that's absolutely fine. The other thing you can do is just go Hellblaster volley guns, which is also pretty easy to play. In terms of like put them hopefully in range to shoot someone. I have so much games won or drawn by the tank. Nice. Yeah. If you find value in it, then go for it. I love the Road Wardens. These are good setups. Ambushes, repeater pistols. Hell yeah. Cannons are obviously great. I might like going a little bit bigger on the Outriders. Units of 10. Just getting more shots into them if you can. And then you've got a general and a captain. Squintoffens. Okay. So you've got double Witch Hunter Ward. You've gone for the MR2. Yeah. This is where the choices come in. If you're playing in singles, I'd be tempted to put in one Witch Hunter. You do lose, obviously, the summoning, but a lot of the time you're not going to get it off. And you do lose the Dispel, but it's only an 18-inch range Dispel, so you'll get some value out of the Master Mage. But I think if you're playing singles specifically, I would change this over to a Warhorse Witch Hunter with Squintoffens, purely because it gives you then the ability to, if your opponent is playing like Vampire Counts, it gives you a matchup where you're like, hey, you can't put those Hex Wraiths forwards, you can't put those Banshees forwards, I'm able to just threaten to take them off the board. So I would swap that one over here. I also do love a brace of pistols on this. It's not point efficient, but I love a brace of pistols on there. And then we've got here BSB, Great Weapon, Full Plate, Shield, Witch Hunter's Ward. How many points is Squintoffens? Is it 25? 35. That's it. That's why it's not on there. Yeah. Is there a banner that's worth putting in there as well? If you're taking the banner? Do you need the banner? I feel like you don't, because the captains make you immune to panic, so what do we need the banner for? I think we can drop the BSB here. I'm not opposed to having the character in the unit, providing not only the magic resist, but also providing the immunity to panic, but I don't think you need the BSB, right? It doesn't give you rerolls, it doesn't give you immune to terror, but a BSB doesn't give you immune to terror anyway. It's fear, panic or rally. Yeah, I think that's fine. Monster Hunter. If this unit gets caught by a dragon, you're fucked anyway. Razor and Swirling are the worth ones. Yeah, this is one of the few times where I agree you actually could get value out of Razor Standard, because you're rolling so many dice. But I think it would just be Swirling. But at that point, I'd rather just say, hey, we've got enough points here to go for a couple more Outriders. So if we went like, let's say 10 and 10, Grenade Launching Blunderbuss, love that. Sharpshooter and Musician, love that. And then this unit just gets a little bit smaller, right? Though I don't love them getting smaller. How many points are we over? 44. That's probably too many. Oh, wait. Hold on. This is a character on foot. So the character was to go in with the veterans state troops. I see. I thought it was a mounted character. I think I'd rather... Like, I get the appeal of trying to make this harder to kill, but I think I would rather just not put the BSB in there and not give up more points, right? That feels worthwhile. Priest on horse and take Gleaming Pendant. Priest on horse with Gleaming Pendant. I can't remember what Gleaming Pendant does. I also can't see it. What the hell is Gleaming Pendant? The Gleaming Pennant. Single use reroll a single failed leadership test. Oh, it's a banner. It's not pendant, it's pennant. I read that wrong. Oh no, you typed it wrong. Ha! Ha! Got him. All right, cool. I need to pull up the thing and I've just closed it down. Okay. Okay. I think I just wouldn't. I wouldn't put the BSB in the unit. That's not a choice that I would make. I am on board with putting the captain in the unit. Although I wouldn't bother, I guess, with the great weapon because they provide the immunity to panic. But I wouldn't bother putting it in the foot unit here. I think because given that the rest of your list can run away, but you've gone for the steam tank. This just makes things fucky because then the witch hunter's not providing magic resist. This is why it's so hard to write this list. Like there's too many things. Too many things. I do stand by the witch hunter, even though you don't have magic resist on it. But I don't know how we make this work. Like, is there a way to make it work? And so we're going back to a BSB. Yeah, I mean, if you're going on foot, I guess it is just the Witch Hunter's Ward, Monster Hunter Tapestry. Give him a Charm Shield as well. We're going to have to go back down to 8 Outriders because things just cost too much. We can also shave some points on the Steam Tank. We don't have to pay for the Repeater Pistol. Griffin unit and Stank is the left, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind dropping the second engineer if we're playing, you know, with only cannons, no Hellblaster volley guns. Do we just have to live with not having magic resist on the unit? I think if you're playing singles, having the ability to shoot ethereal is so important because otherwise you just lose, right? I don't know how you interact otherwise. Dragon's Bow's not going to do it on its own. Only one unit's immune to panic. In terms of the rebuild on the characters, I think... Okay, well, let's just rip this apart. I think it might just be... Screw this. Double Witch Hunter, like so. And then double Captain. With one with the Griffin banner, not the Griffin banner, the Dragon Bow, and one with the hold on, Magic Resist 2 as well. Cool. And then, nope, I don't want to duplicate that. I want to duplicate the list. I don't want to duplicate the list. Is what I was trying to say. Damn. Get rid of the Dragon Bow. One trick shots. Like this to me is better because you've got the MR2, you've got the immunity to panic on the units, you've got both of them are able to shoot ethereal, so you've just got the output to absolutely rinse hex wraiths if they come at you. You've still got the Outriders, although I feel like you're pretty light on number of Outriders. I'd like to see more here. This unit here, I don't really want to go any lower on. And then you've got the Steam Tank to back it up. Wrong horse. Have I paid too much? I have paid too much. Thank you, good catch. I swear the order on those is different elsewhere, but that's fine. Thank you for pointing that out. So, yeah, I quite like this. At which point, is there anything we can do to... Like, how do we fill the last few points? Because we've got 30-something points. Is it 2? It's not 2. Like, we could go 9 and 9, and then we just drop 4 points somewhere, which is like... It's not this. Oh, wait, you haven't got shields on your... Oh, you haven't got shields on your state troops. That is a problem. Alright, well, I think we've just found where all those points went. We're going to go for the... you have to go shields on this unit, otherwise it'll just fall over. And then we have 7 points remaining to upgrade something. We can just put the repeater pistol. Nope, that's 8 points back. Okay, not that. I like keeping these not simultaneous. I like keeping these symmetrical, so I wouldn't give both of them, like one of them a pistol, but that is probably the correct thing to do. There's nothing for 7 points here. I'm just wasting time on this. I really want to spend these these 3 points. We'll just go shields on both of the captains, I guess. And that's close enough. But that would be the direction I'd go in, I think. Troops don't have shields. Okay, so you meant to have that on. Yeah, perfect. Then obviously one of these captains becomes the general. I don't think it matters who, because they're basically symmetrical. It's just the weapon they've got that's not. But yeah, I think that's more the direction I'd go in. I think none are very interesting. It's a list that I'd like to play more of, but it's yeah, like honestly, Remy, I could probably drop I think I gave them full plate as well. Could probably free up some points there. 8 points per model, 16 gets one more Outrider, but you know, feel free to make the small tweaks, like drop the shield and the full plate on the 2 characters, and then give them instead +1 Outrider. That would be a decent way to tweak. But I think the more important thing is like the actual characters and loadouts that we've gone for, which I think looks pretty solid here. All right, good stuff. We've got 3 more lists. Given that I lost to it, let's have a look at Boris's Bloodherds. It wasn't Boris's list, but it was thank you, Remy. I think it'd probably be easier for me to build and paint my own army than you to get them to England in one piece and then me to return them to the Netherlands in one piece as well. But it's very kind of you to offer. Okay, so where's Boris's list? I've managed to lose the plot a little bit. Okay, Boris says, I've been theory crafting again. I've always loved the Graze the Gods rule, and this is my try to maximize it with as many characters as possible. Cool. Under SBC, a Blood Herd gives me the most points to play with, which I've thought about this as well. I've looked at Chariot spam. While forcing me to only take one actual Minotaur, for troops I end up making a decent effort towards an actual Horde. Not a lot of finesse in this list, just a lot of goats. Would love to hear your thoughts. I think you need to take more than just one Minotaur, right? You have to take... I'm pretty sure you have to take at least 2 units of Minotaurs in core. I think it's 1+ of Minotaurs, right? Yeah, so you have to take 2 units of Minotaurs. So immediately we've got to tweak this. I don't know if I care about raid scores in special. Like, they're fine, but I don't know that I'm super jazzed about them. So we've got the Herdstone, we've got 1 million characters. Okay. I'm not sold. Warhoofs. Warhoofs are just going to die so easily. They are only 90 points, but also they are just going to die, I think. Okay, the Doom Ball is good, I think. Heavy Chaos Armor with Gouge Tusks, Battle Magic. Can you also go for Gnarled Hide? Yeah. So that gets us to a 3-up save? Yeah. Which is not bad. That's pretty okay. Heavy Chaos Armor is heavy armor plus a 5 ward. Cackling Blade is obviously just a great weapon. Gouge Tusk gives you extra AP on your attacks, and Gnarled Hide gives you +1 on your armor save. So that all works pretty well. Then we've got a Wargore BSB. Monster Hunter Tapestry. It's never additional hand weapons in Old World, unfortunately. Wait, hold on. Full Render doesn't work with additional hand weapons, does it? No. Okay, so this only applies to hand weapons, not additional hand weapons. Additional hand weapons are a different attack, unfortunately. So I quite like just going for a general hand weapon there. I wouldn't bother with the additional hand weapons on it because you lose your AP and also you're not very tanky. But this looks fine as a general point. Then you've got 2 just normal Wargore, cheap and cheerful with charm shields. I get the like, for 68 points, I don't hate that. I maybe would be tempted just to go hand weapon shield, but I guess you can do that as well because you've got full render. The Warhoofs I'm not super sold on, and then the Bray Shamans are fine. But I think surely you want Hagtree Fetish in there, right? Okay. So, you've gone 2 units of Gore. Yeah, well, there's a lot of units here. So I think what we're doing, like, I think going heavy on characters is fine, but let's just take it back to what it does. You're never going to want to run 20 Ungor with characters in, like, so let's just drop it down to, like, units of 14 with ambush. You might not even ambush them, but having the option there gives you a lot of flexibility. I don't mind keeping the unit champion the musician, because you might bunker some wizards in there. So, like, 2 units of 14 in skirmish, I think, is okay. We don't need that as well. 1 unit of Gore, I think, is really good, because this is where you're going to put all your, like, melee stuff, right? So if we're going for, like, 1 unit that is, like, full of characters, we're going to go Doomball, we're going to go the Demonology Wizard here, we're going to go the BSB with 3 wide, and then you probably can, with Steed of Shadows, go for 2 more War Gore as well. So you're going 5 wide, where there's 5 models at the front and 5 characters. I think that's playable. I think it's a little over the top, but I think it's playable. Let's give them... Normally with something like this, you see Vitriolic Totem. Poison attacks is quite nice, especially if you're going with Demonic Vessel, giving extra attack, strength, and AP, and then you're more likely to be like, hey, these Wargore are all just going to use the hand weapon and shield. They're strength 6, they're poisoned, they're probably wounding everything on 2s anyway. I don't have to worry about the great weapon. 1190 weighted, that's correct. It is 11 wide. That's still fine though. Yeah, okay. So I think this is fine. These Warhooves, I don't think it's 3. I definitely don't think it's 3. I could maybe be convinced for 1, but I think 3 is giving up too many easy points, because you've got nothing to screen them with, because they're a cavalry unit, so they can't hide, which means they're just going to be super easy to pick up. Vitriolic over Totem of Wrath, they're probably not getting the charge off all that much. Totem of Wrath only gives you AP and rerolls on the charge, which we're not going to get. And also, if you range of the Herdstone, you're going to get reroll 1s to wound anyway, so it's kind of duplicated. Going to be a huge Gore unit. Yeah, but that is what people are playing at the moment. Like, people are going pretty wide with the Gore. Maybe not 11, but like 9 wide would not be uncommon to see. And I think you'll see people going wider and wider and wider, not over time, but like over the course of a game, you typically see the unit get wider and wider as it hits more things and you get a chance to reform and then charge in again. So you had 2 units of 40. Let's just make this like a big unit. I think it's 55. It's either 55 or 52 is the maths on what you typically see for this. And I cannot be bothered to calculate what it should be with the different rank bonus, but I think it's about this. Cassius Prime. Oh, Cassius Prime.
Just seeing my list. One day I'll figure out a way to make Iron Sworn work. Lol and a triple bull gimmick.
Yeah. Triple gun bull is a vibe for sure. I don't hate it, but we'll talk about it more tomorrow, bud. You do unfortunately need to go for a couple of units of Minotaurs, and that is unfortunate because I don't know how you do that. We don't really want to go 2 big units to them because I think that's bad. So maybe one of the units is just 2 models. Maybe both the units are just 2 units with shields and light armor, and you put them in marching column, and you have one of them as a redirector, and you have one of them to hold the Herdstone. Like, that's almost 200 points of tax, but it's the cheapest we're going to get in terms of not just taking the... I don't understand how we've got to hear from the... We got there from the royalty-free music. That was definitely not royalty-free music. Okay. Let's go back to this. Where was I at? Cool. Okay, so we've got the big brick of Gore. We've got the 2 units of Minotaur herds that you legally have to take, unfortunately. 2 units of Ungor skirmishers, and then Razor Gore. Like, I don't hate them, but I think we can probably drop them here and then think about what we want to put in. 1 Warhoof, I think, is cute. So you've got, like, a random move to go run around. Like, I could maybe be convinced for 2, but I think the third, like... Oh, we can give them ambushes. Oh, we can give them ambushes, though. Wargore. It's not Wargore, it's Warhoof. I always get these two confused. Because if we're talking ambush, that's not going to cut it. I'm going to have to actually look at the rules, because I think there might be a restriction on how many you can have, and often that restriction isn't listed in the way that you think it might be. Alright, so Beastmen are pretty far through. So nothing says on there. If we scroll down to the Centaur Chieftains Warhoofs. Yeah, 0 to 1 per 1,000 points may have ambushes. So I think 2 Wargore, both with ambushes, I can see that. Like, you can, they start off the board, so you get less my will be done. You get less Gaze of the Gods, which does suck, but you can also actually bring them to bear in a way that's useful, and you can not get just absolutely murdered by shooting because you bring them on where you want them to be. So I think that's legitimately useful. Also, you don't have to roll Drunken the turn they come in, which is really funny because you roll that at the start of turn, right? I'm pretty sure that's a start of turn ability. Yeah, so yeah, they wouldn't be on the table, so you wouldn't have to roll it for them the turn they come in, so they can at least move, which is something. Great. Okay, then we've got these two. Demon Heart is the dispel threat, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I don't hate it. And that still leaves us with, like, over 550 points. And I don't know what we're doing with the rest of them. So we've got this one massive unit that can see the shadows. And you've got a couple of characters in the backlines. And I don't know how you fill the rest of the points. Honestly, is it just... Wait, can Bloodherd not have... Can Bloodherd not have the giant spawn? That is rough. Because this list, I think, would benefit massively from having double giant spawn of Nurgle. Man, that sucks. That really sucks. Gorgon, no, I may have lost to it, but I still don't think it's good. It's 245 points. It just dies to anything. Not if you don't kill it, and then you die to its Monster Slayer through its 4 board, but this is not a results-based analysis household, okay? That's not how we do things here. Okay. You know it works. I know it doesn't work. You know how many games I've won at tournaments into players bringing Gorgons? All of them apart from that last one. I actually don't know what I'd put in here. Like, if I'm doing this, if I'm trying to maximize... Okay. I don't know how to fix this list. So we might have to just talk about it as a concept. If you want to run... In fact, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I would go. 4 Dragon Ogres would be my standard. Yeah, I think Dragon Ogres are good. I was trying to lean more into what you're doing, because I think, like, this here is, like, it's not the most optimal list, but it's also not bad. Like, it's legitimately not bad. So, 4 Dragon Ogres, no Shartak, great weapon, heavy armor, and then let's be cute and put in a Shaggoth as well, because, honestly, this thing is pretty decent with a full plate Chaos armor. We don't need the full plate, do we? We just need the heavy Chaos armor, because you can't get 2-up armor save. So, like, this here is pretty legit, and then you've only got 50 points to spend, and then you maybe, like, put another unit of Ungor in for scoring or something like that, and that's fine. And, you know what, I will do that, and then I'll link it, just for the sake of, here's a list that looks right, before we tweak. Something like 14 here. So this is, like, a list that you can play around with. It doesn't really maximize the vibe of what you're going for, which is obviously what I'm trying to do and trying to keep with. But the thought that I've had, which does lean into what you want to do to a decent degree, it doesn't play to the Death Star anywhere near as much. But if you go into Bloodherd, obviously you have to go for the character. So let's assume that you're still doing the Death Star, because I think the Death Star is just legitimately good. So we go Bray Shaman, level 2, Seed of Shadows, Lore Familiar, yada yada yada. Lore Familiar Power Score. Perfect. So that's good. And obviously we're still going for the Herdstone. We don't need to do that. We're just looking at the characters here. Then we go for a Doom Ball as well. I really like the setup that you went with. I think I'd probably just go level 1. I don't think level 2 is going to get you all that much. We just go battle magic. We try and get hammer hand. We always get hammer hand. We don't try. Uh, there's not a lot of thinking involved in that one. So then we go heavy chaos armor, cackling blade. I think this is a legitimately good build that you've got here. I really like it. Let's go with gouge tusk and gnarled hide. Just, really solid. I wouldn't be opposed to having something in here like the enchanting aura in the unit as well, but it's going to be hard to fit in. But then we've got 770 points for characters, and you can go with Wargore, Great Weapon, Tusker Chariot. You don't need to go Razor Gore because they're T5 already. And then you go for the heavy plate, sorry, the full plate Chaos Armor, Shield, 186 points. You've got these three, and these three on their own. The problem is they don't play well into dragons, and that just sucks. So then you probably want to support it with like a Hagtree Fetish character, which won't kill it, but at least can threaten it a little bit, yada yada. But you can go like 3 Wargore and then 1 Bray Shaman. This one has to be the Razor Gore Chariot. 25 points available. So we're actually a little bit stuck for points here. So we'd have to make a sacrifice elsewhere, but you could go... I guess it would have to be the full plate Chaos Armor as well, which means we're 13 points over, which means we lose something like... it's probably got to be the Power Scroll here, which makes the list a lot less consistent. But like, this would be maybe the way that I'd build around it. Your characters are each individually quite punchy, and while it'd be nice to have them on the Razor Gore Chariots, going for the Tusker Chariot here just gives you, it gets you to that, 6 wounds T5 with the good armor save and the 5-up ward save. They all can roll in the Gaze of the Gods, so you've got 4 models that are solo that can roll in the Gaze of the Gods. Each of them, it feels meaningful when you put something on. It feels fucking meaningful when you roll Stupidity, I'll tell you that. You've still got the really good, like, punchy character, and you've still got the thing to fly them around. So, like, if I was wanting to go, how do I fit as much into 2,600 points that is, like, kick-ass characters, this is the direction I'd go with. And as someone in chat said as well, it also makes the list a lot more pleasant to play, in that you are not going, I've got 16 dice by this one unit. I wonder which buff is on which character. Whereas here, it's very easy just to put some markers next to each individual chariot. But yeah, I'm going to link this as well. I'm not saying that this is any way super thought out or like refined or anything like that. But this is like the vibe that I've tried to build around a couple of times and then dropped. Wizarding Hat to try for Oaken Shield. Then you are also stupid like the Troll Brethren or Glittering Robes. So, Oaken Shield, you can just roll for. Because the Doom Bull is a level 1 wizard. So in Battle Magic, you can just roll for it. You don't have to go for the Wizarding Hat. Cool. Well, I hope that might have been helpful in some way. Let's look at John's Bretonnians Exiles. And I think this says see Discord. So let's have a look at what John said about their list as well. Let's see what we're working with here. Alright, John says, toying around with his Exiles list, I have a real Bretonnian itch. Idea is a chunk of range pressure. The Outcast Wizard would join the Bowman each, whilst having a couple of decent threats. Open suggestions with a couple of design principles. You don't want to go with too many peg characters or peg knights, but happy/want to run some. Want to run a decent sized knight unit and have gone so I can do a big lance or go wide once the characters are in. I wonder if it would be better to go Errantry Crusade for you, if you don't want to run. No, that core is still like Yeoman Guard, Peasant Bowman, Pegasus Knights. Yeah, sure. This is solid. So, in terms of wanting to go with the Knights of the Realm, they've got Antlers of the Great Hunt. That's +1 strength in the charge for the horses only, right? Move through cover. No, I was thinking of the Exile, the Errantry Crusade one only. Okay, so this unit makes sense. How many characters are in there? No, you will not pick me up at 6. You will not. If anyone's banging on my door at 6 o'clock, I'm throwing things at them. I will be working at 9 though, so woo. Cool. Okay, so what I would say is the value of a character on horse for Bretonnians is very low, and I it's a very common thing for Bretonnian players to be like, oh, I don't want to play too many Pegasus Knights. I want to play more Cavalry Knights, and thematically, I totally get that. But the thing that I see happen basically every time that I've talked to people about it is they do it for a while and they go, oh, this feels bad. I can't leverage the power of my list and it feels like I lose on my punch. The reason that the Pegasus Knights are very good is you load them up to the point where they can go and kill whatever they need to kill and they can fly around and get points. And it's a stat check to an extent. And if you don't have enough points in the stat check, then you end up in a situation where your list just doesn't function because they don't get to kill the stuff they need to, and then you've got points that are easy to pick up elsewhere. So that's the big problem with going for this sort of list design. I'm not opposed to a unit of Knights of the Realm, although in Exiles that does feel a little bit rough because they don't have the Lady's Gift. So, well, they don't start with the ward save. You can get it, but realistically they're going to die before then, is the main problem with it. And yeah, realistically, what I'm going to say is, if you're trying to make this as competitive as possible, 5 Pegasus Knights, 2 characters in there. You don't have to go for the BSB in there as well. Like, you could go, 5th one, you haven't got Totem Wrath on them because you've got it on the Paladin. That's fine, but then the unit does lose some punch. I don't hate having Banner Echelons on there, but I think if you have just the Frontier Axe character with this unit of Pegasus Knights, you're going to struggle to kill as much as you want to. And I also, unfortunately, don't think that double Outcast Wizard is double level 1 is not the way to go. I would put all of those points into going for just a single Outcast Wizard, and I'd also prefer them on a horse. That would be my advice. You'll get a lot of mileage out of them on a reserve move unit of Mounted Yeoman. That would be generally what I would go with. I don't want to just rip this list apart, because there was another Bretonnian list earlier in the channel that kind of just goes through all of the things that I think are good. So I'm going to link the timestamp, and hopefully that's useful, because I'm talking about why I would make the changes. If you want to then continue to do so, there's obviously more power to you. If you know what the limitations of the list are, and you're not bothered and you want to run it anyway, Bretonnians are still a pretty solid army, and you will still be able to do well into a good chunk of armies. It's mostly shooting that you're going to struggle with, but that's the same. You'll struggle to beat the top armies in the game, but that's what, people experience anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to link the timestamp. I think is a lot more useful than me going and saying, hey, you should do ABC instead of what you've got. So roughly 2 hours in full description. Cool. And I think the list is fine. I don't think the list is bad. The Damsel for Glittering Robes in with the Knights is nice. The BSB in there makes reasonable sense as well. I would move the Baron into the Pegasus Knights as mentioned. I'd consolidate the 2 Outcast Wizards into 1. And I like the Peasant Bowman. I'd love a unit of Mounted Yeomen for the Mounted Outcast Wizard to go in. Level 3 Ruby Ring Lore Familiar. I think that's a really good setup for it. But yeah, baseline, you've got the good stuff in there. Cool. And then finally we've got Selly's Draft Renegades Dark Elves. Let's have a look at what they said, because they put some context in the Discord as well. So let's have a look at that. Sally says, draft Renegade list for Dark Elves GT in a couple of weeks. Heavy on special objectives and strategic locations. Interested in using some new flavour that the draft introduces. Came up with this, will get flamed for no Keldon Knight. Sodomite on the Sorceress. Represent points increase for Sork and Tome of Furion. Cool. Execution is a costed for drilled included. Hydra points deduction basically makes the list fit. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm not going to be able to get super specific with this one in terms of the points not matching up with what I'm seeing here, but we can have a look, and we'll talk about the vibe as well for this one. So 2,200 points. You can't take executioners in core, can you? There's nothing that lets you take executioners in core. Let me just have a look at. I think I bookmarked it on my phone. I don't think I bookmarked it elsewhere. So what I'm going to have to do is go to the Squarebase YouTube channel and go to their video. And here we go. And you'll have heard Rob immediately getting in there. Okay. Let's just pull up the Google Doc here so I can have a look at it. Let's see. Let's see what we're working with. Or I'd say let's see, but it's taking its damn time. Hey Anthony, why don't Vampire Count players play a Vampon Dragon and Necro Mortis engine as the hero choices? Because the list has been solved, and the list as it functions is just disgustingly good. It's the opportunity cost. Like, the Vampon Dragon is like not a super efficient choice, but it's not bad. But it's not something that it makes Vampire Counts the best army in the game. And what they currently play is what makes them the best army in the game. Cool. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, we'll more talk about this on a point basis. Hydras, I think these things are money in the bank. I am really interested to play around with. I haven't had time, but I'm really interested to play around with a list that goes, hey, what if we just went really heavy pressure on like Monster Mash? 155 points for these things, I think feels pretty decent. They're still only T5. They've got the 5-up regen. They've got some stomps. They are behemoths, so the stomps have AP. And then they've got the additional attacks for how many wounds they have remaining. I got this the wrong way around because thematically, I feel like the more heads you cut off a Hydra, the more attacks it should get. But I guess in game terms, that doesn't translate super well, and you end up being like, oh, I'm low health, so suddenly I'm good, which is kind of the opposite of what you expect to see. So, you know, that's fine. And also, yeah, I think this probably shouldn't be all of them. I think this should be like on a 2+ you heal a wound if you're wounded. But I mentioned that in the review. Anyway, that aside. 155 points for these, I feel is very solid. I do like them. I think this is a good place to be with them. So 2 of those is good. I think there's... can you put one of them in... I mean, I'd be tempted just to take a 3rd War Hydra, honestly. Like, I'd put... Hey, what if we just went 3 War Hydras? You know, 2 in special, 1 in... 2 in rare, 1 in special. If you're taking the Beastmaster anyway, which I generally dislike, I would prefer to see Double Dragon here. But I think for Dark Elves, there is a reason to do it separately on the basis of... by taking the Beastmaster, you unlock the Hydra in special, and then you're also able to take a Sorceress on foot and do their own thing there. Like, I kind of get it, you know? This is a Demonology 5 spell caster. I'm assuming this is to move the Executioners up the board, and I get that, but I just don't think that they're going to bring enough power for you. You don't have a 3rd. That is fair. I do respect that. I also don't know why you've... oh, hey, there you go. It's come up in chat. While you might not have it, that is one of the tweaks that I'd make. Like, a 3rd one would be incredible. You've already unlocked it. I don't think the Executioners are going to do enough. I think they are 2 easy points for your opponent to grab. Even though you've got Steed of Shadows and Demonic Vessel and all that good stuff, there's no Monster Hunter Tapestry or anything like that, and I'm worried that they're just going to get ripped through. Honestly, given that their greatswords have been improved to AP... Oh, wait, have they not been improved? I think they were improved in the pack, right? Yeah, they've been improved to AP2. I think I just dropped the Banner of Harganeth. Like, you're going to be AP2 normally. You're going to be AP3 with Demonic Vessel. You don't need any more. I would change this over to Monster Hunter Tapestry, and I'd also give them Drilled. I understand that you've got this on the Warriors, but I think the Warriors maybe just have to fend for themselves or go for a War Banner, something like that. I'd also not pay for the Spears. You're just going to use Hand Weapon and Shields. Okay, so with that in mind, just go for like 3 more bottles to get the points up. So like tweaking, I think this functions probably the way that you want it to function in terms of what it's doing. I think +1 Hydra in special. Drop the Executioners. This is good. This is... Honestly, upgrade that Talisman of Protection to the whatchamacallit. Pendant to Caliph. Oh, no, you've got it on the other one already. Sorry. Wrong way around. What have we got here? Okay. In terms of like characters, I'd tweak this up. So let's go Great Weapon on the Dreadlord. Still give them a shield, but give them the Pendant of Caleth. I think that feels better, and we'll drop the Shield of Grond on them. The Shield of Grond is nice, but where I think it shines the most is on the T5 model, because this way you're running double pseudo, like you're running pseudo T6 on this model, because your T5, but you're -1 to incoming strength, and I think that is where the Manticore works, and it's why I'm a little bit more lenient. I've talked about not wanting to run Manticores previously. I'm a little bit more lenient.
Thanks for the explanation, Ed. Appreciates it. I'll be watching here in silence.
You're welcome. Yeah, I think this Manticore is a little bit better because it's very cheap. Like the Chaos Lord on Manticore was almost 500 points. The High Beastmaster is obviously a lot less valuable, but it's like T6, and you've got some value there. Anyway, I don't really have too strong an opinion. Also, give it the Sea Dragon Cloak, get it up to a 3 up against non-magical shooting. But I think this is where I would put the Shield of Grond, and then obviously we've got the Talisman of Protection on there as well. Keep it with just the whip and the cavalry spear. I'd rather have a good weapon on there, but you just can't make that work. And then this sorceress is fine the way they are, and otherwise, like, this looks fine. It's literally just the executioners that I don't like. What else can we put in? How many points is it for the because maybe the answer is a Cauldron of Blood, honestly. Not Cauldron of Blood. Blood Rack Shine. 140 points. Like, again, I know you don't have the models for this, so if we're talking about what you've got, tweak this to make sure that it fits in your points level. And, like, the executioners, they're going to do a job. I don't think they will do that job efficiently, but, like, if you're working within the limits of the models that you have, or you really want to play them, this is fine. So I will link this, but if this was something that you were tweaking around with, I didn't at you. It's at Sal. Bugger. At Selly. Boom. There we go. Yeah. So if you were tweaking this, like for just if this was a list you were working towards, we drop the executioners. We go for another Hydra in here. Obviously, the points are going to be way off because it is what it is. And then we put in the Bloodrack Shrine as a chariot. 140 plus 150 plus 150. You can't fit another one, can you? Because you've only got 550 in rare. Yeah, that's not going to work. But you can go like one Bloodrack Shrine, double War Hydra. Like that gives more of a toughness lean. You'd have a dragon. You'd have a T6 Manticore, you'd have 3 T5 War Hydras, and you'd have 1 Bloodrack Shrine, which again is T5 with quite a lot of wounds. And I think that's interesting. You have a Bloodrack Shrine. I like the Bloodrack Shrine in there. I think that's a really solid thing just to fit in if you can. Oh, shit. Thank you. That's very, very kind of you. Sorry, my brain just turned off there. Well, if you are in chat and you've received a gifted membership, please do say thank you. That's very kind of you, Colin. Much appreciated. What was it saying? Yeah, I think the Monster Mash style list is a really interesting way to go, and I think at 2,200 or 2,000 or whatever this list is, if you're not playing it like 2-4, we're probably looking at 3 Hydras and then 1 Bloodrack Shrine as well is like the best version of that. Yeah, that would be how I would go with that there, I think. And the Bloodrack Medusa being upgraded to have a halberd as well is interesting. Yeah, like I don't think this is good. You know what? Maybe this. I don't know if this is as good as Charybdis. I'd have to think that one through. But that would be the approach that I would go with for tweaking it. How many points was it? Was it 2,200? It's an interesting amount of points. Because I'm assuming Dark Elf Renegades are played at like 2-4. If you're playing square base comp. What was the context that you put in? If we go up to your list here. It was higher up, I think, Sunny. Draft Renegades list. 2,200 points cap. So I guess it's just 2,200. Yeah, I think that would be what I do. I don't think the executions are going to do much. And if you're going for that sort of like, if you're going for that sort of monster mash spam, I think the sorceress then probably changes to just be like maybe a battle magic caster, just sits with the warriors, gives them Oaken Shield, Arcane Urgency's the dragon up the board, fires a fireball. Like maybe the way that you build it is you go, maybe you literally just go Lore Familiar, Ruby Ring, maybe a Power Scroll, something like that. They've been comped to a B tier. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think they're probably still in C tier, realistically. But yeah, it's cool to see them. Well, I hope it goes well. I hope the testing goes well, and I'm assuming that you're going to take the executioners because it's probably a shorter turnaround / what you've got available. I hope they get some good value for you. I didn't even talk about the Dark Riders. I love that. Everyone here knows that I'm a big fan of specifically the 2 units of Dark Riders that get Fire and Flee. Big fan of those. Cool. Well, that was the last list that we had for the evening. It's good to be back. Good to be back. You can drop them. I mean, I don't know what you replaced them for. If you haven't got the Hydra, like the Bloodrack Medusa's good, but I don't know what you fill for the rest of like 300 points that the unit was costing. So yeah, it's difficult to say what you would put in for the other thing because there's not. It's not like you've got 130 points in characters. Yeah, I don't know what you'd fill in, but yeah, good stuff. All right, well, I'm gonna call it a night because I gotta get up at before 9 o'clock because I'm working Saturday